on Earth. Surprisingly slow, which means we are alive, which is good. Yeah, hello the little world. Do excuse me, I might sound a little bit short, but it's actually too late doing for now also. I would love doing a weather like this. Leads to one hell of a nice headache, but alas, it has been relatively cured. Relatively. But that also means that I have slept quite a bit, and it does kind of put me a bit out of it. Nothing a bit good or bit of coffee can't help with. But that of course takes a moment. So excuse me if I'm a bit slow in the uptake. I shall be getting better soonish. Now, well, I lose out. Let me post all the nonsense, because, well, you know, it is just what I tend to do. For some reason. Well, I'm nothing if not dutifully doing it. Is that something you can actually count on? When I start doing something, I technically speaking do tend to continue doing it. That at least is something I can promise even. If nothing else, interestingly enough. Now then, I think we have set up everything. Yes, we have. We shall go here, we shall go here, and then inside the game. Now, I need to get awake, because I need to remember now. Okay. So I did in my still half asleep state, kind of read what we were doing, to give you a bit of the, well, Reader's Digest, I suppose, of what has happened lately. It's a certain town, the town of Defiance Bay, great and mighty as it was, has been kind of burnt, and is probably still burning because we are still not allowed inside. Halfway our fault. Well, to put it metaphorical, we have decided to, well, throw rocks as a certain hornet's nest for the Len Key. Mind you, we're not throwing rocks because we are cautiously trying to keep our distance. No, we are throwing rocks because we can't reach yet. And, well, some of our rocks got a bit close. Now, this particular hornet's nest, the Len Key, has decided to take no chances, and their queen bitch herself, basically, has decided that, well, yeah, teaching them a lesson is probably a good idea by heading out against everything that was close to the nest, which sadly was everyone in the Defiance Bay, who has been driven into a frenzy and murdering people on the street. Could you shut up, for fuck's sake, kitty? Every bloody single time, this time, whenever I start doing something that involves me to... It's fucking on the telephone. I'm fucking kidding. Kitty's like, me. Kitty, such a good of you. Become a problem, and I can't work with you. You're going to get fucked. Because then I will have to, quite literally, take you, throw you to the next room, close the door. Do you want it? No? Good. Good point, in case my patience is most definitively not good when I'm tired. Where was I? Right, we have done all of the nonsense, and since after that we couldn't really go to the city to do shopping any longer, we have decided to, well, follow them apparently to the nice little city of Twin Elms. Those particular hot twins, I'm assured, will be somewhat pleasant of a sight. And we shall go after that. Could you shut up, kitty? Fuck's sake. Pain in the ass. I don't know what's wrong with him the last few days. Maybe it's, you know, that time of a month for him or something. I don't know, but sometimes he just has a face where he decides to be a fucking annoying little prick. And yes, so what else have we done? We have done some bounty hunting, and we shall go to Twin Elms finally. As you can see, we have a few guest members in a little party here. apart from our usual subjects. Also, that water looks really, really nice. We have Mr. I would like to know a lot more about why I turned into a fucking monster. And Miss I need to broker a trade agreement. Which is what we're basically going to do now. Or so the plan goes at least. Always good to have a plan. No. Ooh, right. Actually, we could start on the next part of the White Marches, but I don't feel it yet. I've seen enough snow. You know, that's such nonsense. No. Where, oh where do these people hide their boat twinge, por favore? I would very much like to know that. I'm very interested in that. Information, people. Information is very important. Well, technically speaking, also, you know, the way you say stuff is also very important, but, yeah. Discussion for another day. And of course, we arrive in the middle of the night, as any good traveler should, because that is totally one way to make yourself feel very welcome. Wow. These people are going to be so happy to be seeing me.
Indeed.
Estramore, still.
Estramore?
The warrior's hunt is over. A sneer of suspicion visible beneath streaks of paint. He glanced at your gear before favoring you with a long look. Another fugitive from the burning city. The 6th tribe of Glenfair welcome you to Twin Elms. For you lies the Heartzone district. You're free to explore it. Do not let your feet stray into the other districts. Those are forbidden to Estramore. What can you tell me about Twin Elms then? City is sacred to all Glen Pheasants, as it is the place where your ancestors first encountered the Builders. That fated meeting turned our people from generations of wandering to a permanent home among the Builders' relics. The Builders commanded us to settle here. They allowed us the unique privilege to live among their structures here. It is the only place in Glenfair where this is permitted. Sacred City is divided into 4 districts. Halfsong, the Commons District, Oldsong, the site of our temples, Elms Reach, home of the Delamgan and the Druids, and the Burial Isle, which is the most sacred place in the city. Which means if I were to go there, I'd probably gonna get a lot of stabby sticks poked in my direction rather furiously. Well then, tell me about Halfsong. This is Halfsong. It's a place where Glen Pheasants and Estramore may gather together. It's also the site of the Passage of the Six. Their tribal leaders, the Anamfather, meet. He points to a large round building, the other end of the district. That way is the market. Guard your purse there. Normal bargains like a Glen Pheasant. And if you need a place to stay, follow the fence to the east. There you may find the way to the Celestial Sapling, which temples line also. There is Noonfrost, which is dedicated to Rimgrund. A group of pale elves from the frozen Southlands arrived not long ago to oversee it. There's also the Nest, a temple of Hylia, and Gilavain's Moor, a den of beasts dedicated to the hunter god. Route to the Burial Isle also lies that way. Oh, and tell me more about Elms Reach. There lies Teavron, I suppose. One of the only towers of the Builders still in perfect condition. 2 great elm trees twine around it. The mightiest works of the gods protect the works of the Builders. 2 Delamgan sisters dwell there now. The Hall of Warriors stands at the other end of the district. Rumors that Anamferth Simok of 3 Tusk Stelagar is there now. And Reach is also where the druids keep their halls. They are the ovators of the Golden Grove and the Etignol of Bloodsands. Sounds promising. Many shudder at the brutal sacrifices of the Efek Knoll. I ovate Erona is just as powerful in her own way. My watcher friend, Heroes piped up from behind you. I would be honored to accompany you to Elms Reach, meet those druids. I'm a bit wary of any circle with a reputation for brutal sacrifices. You don't say. I am worried too. Mostly because, when people are talking about bloody sacrifices, they usually don't mean their own. I kinda tend to mean other people, and I'm potentially another person as I try that, though. Do you know anything about the Burial Isle, then? It is the place where Anamfather are laid to rest, among stones placed by the Builders. They say the souls of some of the Anamfather linger there still. Now I lie through Oldsong. It is the holiest place in all of Twin Elms. They're not gonna let me in there, are you? Why is it forbidden to enter the remaining districts of Twin Elms? Twin Elms is a sacred city, built where the first keepers of the stone met the builders. And so basically your people met the old guys who actually built the ruins. Okay. This is alongside the works of the builders and is the only place in all of Air Glenfeth where it is permitted to set foot among those sacred places. The Restramore, however, do not have proper respect for the stones here. I mean, I wasn't planning on pissing on them outright, but yeah, a stone is a stone is a stone. That's pretty much my point in this whole thing. These words trigger something in your memory. You see an image of a perfect cube of Hadra. Just as quickly, the image fades. A leader of one of the tribes could give you the permission of the city. Only Anamfel Bessel is present in the Passage of the Six today. And he has road troubles. He jerks his head at a long hut in the middle of the district. I have other questions about Twin Elms. I haven't heard of the Keepers of the Stone, the oldest of the 6 tribes. He points the tip of a sword at a long hut behind him. Up the stairs and into the Passage of the Six. This is where our Anamfel gather. Which will the anniversary of the guided compass can tell you more. Who are the builders? You know them as Ingwithians, thus they are the builders, creators of the sacred places that we got to this day. Also the people who like to play around with souls to the point of having machines sitting around that are specifically there to throw souls around like... give me a second while I throw this fucking kitty out of the room because I'm getting... I don't know what it is with him. Now, the good thing is, there is a door right there. That door has a key, I can lock it, and Kitty is not smart enough yet to understand how to use a key. And the only real thing he can do, and it is something he actually does do, is if he runs around enough and jumps off the walls enough, he knows that he can throw over some of the stuff like his scratching post, which is going to make some noise, but still... it's probably considering that my head is still somewhat throbbing, not more fair. How to put this acceptable state of existence. Jesus fucking Christ. Best that you keep your visit brief. What has reached you is that the riots have ended and the gates of Defiance Bay have opened once more. Nice. Any luck somewhat saw when you passed through? I have to ask around. Okay. So we are of course looking for stuff, and we are looking for many things.
Elms. I've never been this far into Air Glenfeth before.
I don't think many people have actually, honestly speaking. No then, usually it's like, don't talk to fucking unnamed people, but for sake of argument we shall do so. Let's see what they have to say. Find out stuff. Is it? Yeah, it is stealing. Step lightly, foreigner. To be fair, that is a fair point. If you are a foreigner in a city that you are new to, step fucking lightly, you idiot. Is all I will say. Because if you think that you have, for some bloody reason, any right to the place, you're kinda on the wrong side of the argument. Tja. And... Got your tongue around the 3 Taskeliga. They're quick to anger. Oh, don't worry, if I anger them and they decided to lash out at me, I shall lash back. Pretty sure I have a longer, harder sword. Must be because I can enhance it with Durgan Steel if I want to. Foolish creatures. I show you, they saw the man break into Ter Ephron. All dressed in thick furs appears immersed in conversation. He knocks his hands together to emphasize his point. I speak true, he commanded strange powers, they claim. An elven woman lifts her eyes from her furry companion and nods in your direction. Nosophrona, did you look like this one? Yonan turns around.
Many blessings, traveler.
That is not what you said. You're saying, what is it, Estramur? Tell me about the man you speak of. Strange man, Fonna, broke into a tavern, a tower under the giant elms. Estramon cannot walk to grounds of Elm's Reach. Why was he allowed to pass? This one was unseen. He wielded a strange power. We now know. Watch tavern. And they have understood since the time of the builders, and it will stand long after we... yeah, that's your twin names, isn't it? Yes, the tower stands strong, and the gods live within its sacred hall. No place for unclean souls. Or foreigners. Fucking racist, you asshole. The gods live in Tavern. How is that possible? History of ancestors are not for every foreigner to understand. The realms, the temple of the builders, the gods commune with us. Be sated in knowing this truth. Sure. Whatever you say, boy. Whatever you say. I'm sure there's some truth to it. Apart from... But most of that is probably a matter of interpretation. Yeah, I wasn't really asking you to, get on your knees. Or anything. Ah, she paid it with shield, moving with anger and pacing in tiny circles. The Valiant merchant aims his wild hand at you as you approach. You there! Have you come here to trade with the savages? Learn from my example and take your business elsewhere. Spittle-like senses every sentence. Liars, cheats, swindlers. A duplicitous bitch, Alari. She claims to be selling Allard Gola flower buds, but all I have now is 6 bushes of common houseplants. These herbs are useless. Those handful of dried plants to the ground, stomping on the brittle stems and their leaves, kicking up pungent, savory scents. I'll get my money back from that swindling savage. What is Allard Gola? Renato's rage abates for a moment, and his face twists into a nervous smile. Allard Gola is a plant that grows in the jungles of Glenfirth. He says Thrells, lowering his voice. And try to consume, to brew into a tea, it's known to enhance one's drive for the better pleasures in life. What you mean to say is, that's an aphrodisiaca, isn't it? So, let me put it like this, Mr. Nobleman. You bought a savage aphrodisiaca, and it didn't work. Am I getting right that your Spear didn't want it to go full mast, yeah, full sail setting, I'm really trying to put this in a very nice sounding way, but generally speaking, his buddy downstairs didn't want it to salute, basically. You're catching my meaning, yes? Let me say, you tested the remedy on yourself. Well, I. A finger fidgeted in place, his hands smoothing the creases in his tunic. How can I sell a remedy I have not tested? Of course I tried to herb. Imagine what would have happened if I peddled this pale imitation. Renato clears his throat, his voice grows quiet. The herb did not have its intended effect. The only thing it made hard, it's not vomiting. See? If you still don't understand what he's trying to say, then you're lacking imagination, aren't you? And what did Alari say when you confronted her? Nothing of substance, he quickly mutters. She defended herself, of course, saying the herbs were legitimate. Wouldn't she lie? No one will value my word over hers. He spits on the ground. I can lie with impunity when surrounded by her gangs of savage thugs. What do you intend to do about this? When I get my hands on... Renato holds a sentence, his eyes darting about at the nearby Glenpheasant guards. I'm in the savage home court. It's my word against hers. Where does that leave me? I'd be a fool to threaten her here on tribal soil. Right, okay. I get where he's coming from, but that's not technically speaking how society tends to work. In any place of trade, basic rules have to be established, because otherwise people do not wish to trade there. Now, in this case, yeah, sure, technically speaking, this is the savage soil, this is the place that the tribe's home, okay. But, as they said, quite clearly, that this is a place where the Emperor or whatever their word for foreigners is are allowed to trade and do business. That means that their merchants too will do business with the foreigners. They will have an interest in that because that is of course a very valuable source of stuff. Goods and services and sheer money. Now how do you keep merchants from, running away, like this little merchant is basically trying to do? It is by establishing a reasonable court of law where actually you have to be somewhat fair. Otherwise, trading is not going to work. Of course, yes, you might be inclined to give your own people the benefit of the doubt most of the time, especially against a foreigner, but I kinda have to set it in the same example, otherwise trade is gonna dry up and that's going to hurt. See? A bit of a complicated situation. We all knew it wouldn't be so easy to find those hot, bloody twins that we are so much hearing about. Of course not. Also, I found this, well, let's just say the following. I was browsing shortly beforehand after I woke up, and I just saw this bloody ad about hot stuff near me. Couldn't help myself. In case you have been wondering where the episode name came from, I couldn't help myself. Ah, he sighs, pressing on his temple. I cannot sell this worthless herb to recover my coin. I'm powerless to confront Allahi. I don't suppose, he looks at you, sizing you up. If you're willing to mediate, perhaps you could succeed where I failed. I would, of course, pay you handsomely for your troubles. Say no more, my friend. You mentioned that you pay me for that, and a job is a job. I'll see what I can do.
Welcome.
Let me see what you have. He looks away from you, switching his neck and shifting his feet. I'm destitute and have but a few meager offerings left to sell. How dreadfully embarrassing. If I can recover my investment from Malahi, I'll have funds to resupply my stores. Until then, you're welcome to take a look at what I still have in stock. I see. Why do I have stuff in my inventory? That should all be in my thingy, but it is all, those are all materials, aren't they? I mean, okay, I guess why are you trying to do it like this? Game, are you really telling me that there's no quick buy button? Seriously not? Yeah, game is like, no, I want you to buy everything single-handed, clicking and clicking again. Do it. Now, cleaning up inventory. Very nice, very nice. Now, let's see who else is around. The hands set their own city afire, and they call us uncivilized. You make a good point, little tribeswoman. The city of Defiance Bay is burning quite nicely, quite brightly, and we're out here calling them savages. What's that? Look in here like, you know, making a point there. Painful point. One up, I pull. Okay.
Need something?
Then pull, please. The sapling, eh? I guess they weren't really joking about it. Now, I still haven't seen those mystical twins that are supposed to be here. I wonder. Actually, we can add those in another district that I can't even enter. Well,
I shall.
I shall find out one way or another, I suppose. Perhaps give me the stinker. Well. I guess technically speaking, they accept the bonus only because, well, they are scriptures or whatever, their gods themselves forcing them to do it, otherwise they probably wouldn't. I'm assuming here. Must because those people from England don't really strike me as the most nice and welcoming people. Mostly they have been welcoming me with spears. For some bloody reason. Nothing interesting to say apparently. Let's see if we can't find somebody with an actual name to talk to. Well, hey monk. It's not a name, more like a title. Still, I suppose better than nothing. Let us talk, let us see what this noise man has to say. Actually, didn't we? Oh yes, we met a dying monk, didn't we? And we took his missive thingy. The monk messages the temples, his face buried in his palm. As you approach, he looks up. This room near the proper door, he mutters. That's a good point, actually. You're making air. My brothers and I rented this place that we may have some measure of privacy in this front end. Perhaps you could find another room here in the inn. Who are you? Briefly opening his mouth to answer, the monk swallows his words. He looks you up and down, carefully choosing his response. The brothers and I were having a private discussion and room rented for our use. Please, there's a tavern full of people who would provide you with the banter you seek. What brings your order to this place? We travel where the teachings take us, the monk mutters, smooth, slow, and measured. But that it is any of your business. Honestly, as far as NPCs go, very reasonable reaction. You would probably be rather pissed off if you are renting a room and somebody barging in and asking questions. But in this case, it's actually reasonable. I met another monk in robes like your own. He died of his wounds right as I found him. The monk's eyes widen. His fists go into a crackling barrage of popping joints. Robes like ours, you say? Was he carrying anything? Did he tell you anything? And if you found anything, please, we've been waiting for another order to meet us here. If you found him. All eyes fall to the floor. The monks begin to whisper chants, in unison to their fallen friend. Well, show him the message. He gave me this missive. Hand me that, the monk exclaims as he snatches the missive from your grasp. Almost immediately, his face turns red. I mean, please, this is of great importance. You're quite impatient for a monk, my friend. Haven't done much of the good old meditation, eh? Breaking the seals, the monk unrolls the handwritten scroll contained within and quickly reads the message, his lips breathlessly mouthing the text. Mounting the text? It would be interesting to do. He turns to address his brothers. My brethren, the Archmaster has sent word. At long last, we now have what we need. Thank you, stranger, the monk says, holding his hands in front of him as he bows deeply. Your honest soul is to be applauded. I admit I was surprised. When you handed me the message, I expected the seals to be broken. The monk turns red, face smiling for the first time. I'm glad to see common decency is not yet lost from this world. He reaches into the folds of his robes. Here, your honesty must be rewarded. The honesty would be kinda cheap. Some dying man wrote like, please, give my people this message. And you're like, okay, but first I'm going to read all of your little secrets. That's not a nice thing to do. Oh, quest finished. What actually was that? Oh, right, this is about a statue and a very, very highly priced eye of said statue that has been missing, and it has apparently reappeared because somebody tried to sell it. Let's see what we found out. It took extensive searching and inquiry across 3 countries. Jesus Christ. Manea eventually picked up the trail of the stolen Araban eye. Following the broken stone wall, Neoma's thief traveled south to Abid, then on to Nasita. Among the boreal dwarves, the thief found a wealthy buyer, the chief of a prosperous tribe. A generation later, the tribe fell on hard times and was raided both by Deadfire Archipelago pirates and paleys from the White Dead Wens. Jesus Christ. Bailiff sold the stolen eye to merchants from Old Valia, who took it north to the Prince of Darkosi, went there for 2 generations. When the Kosi Palace was sacked, one of the invading soldiers took the eye as a prize, carrying it across the sea to Ozia in the Valian republics. It was still there when Manea arrived. Though the wealthy patriarch who owned the eye demanded a hefty sum, Glanfazen am Feather did not hesitate to pay the price. Well, I guess it actually took a lot more of a peaceful turn than I was expecting. When I first heard that someone took a jewel from the savages, I was like, okay, that's going to be blood, most likely. But no, they actually just went out, accepted the fact that the new owner would probably not be at fault for, you know, owning that thing, and paid him. That's bloody damn reasonable. Considering everybody's like those savages all the time. I was expecting a bit more.
Keep you.
Middle-aged elven man stands behind the counter of the inn. He has a warm, open face, smiles pleasantly in greeting as you approach. You seem like a good businessman then. You treat your customers with some sort of respect at least. I am always glad to see a new face. Take a seat where you like, my friend. Seems to me you've walked a long road. Oh boy, you have no idea. We actually were up north not that long ago. All are welcome here, and those with interesting stories most welcome of all. Who are you? My name is Elisarion. They call me Haggard Shows. All the walking I used to do, all the boots I wore down. But those days are well behind me. My eyes have seen a great deal, and now my ears. Yet they fell from the travelers who come through here. Okay, bit of an adventurer yourself in your day, eh? Didn't even take an arrow, eh? To the knee, before you stopped. Tell me about this place. Of course. These runes face Britons. I found it many years ago, but in many ways, its tale begins much earlier. It was while I was returning from a long journey south, I first heard the story of the tree upon which this inn rests. Hundreds of years ago, a strange event occurred. The sky was troubled that night, with many stars falling across the sky, and one of those same stars began to plummet, instead towards Eora. It fell here, striking a young tree and burying itself within it like a fiery heart. But the tree survived, and over the years it grew, and grew, and grew, twice as big as its fellows in half the time, until it reached the size you see now, and grew no more. Hearing the tale, I knew I must find the truth. And you see it there. Yes, as towards the large stone at the center of the room. Around the tree's heart, I built this inn, to welcome all travelers who might look upon it. That's interesting. I was glad to see a new face. Sure. The rest is like usual. You mean this one here? Unusual stone pulses with worms. Interesting. How did you even know that burying, or rather unburying from inside the tree that hard would not cause some catastrophic event? Well, I guess he was lucky enough that it did not happen.
How do you do?
A slender woman in dusty leathers looks eyes with you. It's good to see someone from more civilized lands around here. Her unkempt hair sprouts in wavy black tufts. Despite the fine features that sculpt her face, a cleft chin completes her boyish appearance. Although people are like, those barbarians, and it's like, well, but you're looking somewhat unkempt yourself, don't you, woman? I'm learning firsthand that many shortcomings of Glanfasen hospitality. The gloved hands come to rest the pommel of a long estoc, hinged low on her hip, and almost forgive the hostility towards outsiders. But the temperate taverns and these watered-down drinks, inexcusable. Tell that to the innkeeper. I'm sure he's going to be very happy about your input. I don't seem too forward, but I need to help my friends. You look like the right person for the job. Sly smile carves a dimple on her cheek. Which is to say, you're not Glanfasen, making you the closest thing I've got to an ally in this paranoid land. She gives you a coquettish sideway glance. And allies, well, they help each other, do they not? Well, no. If you ever try talking to a stranger on the street, you will probably learn this lesson very fast, but we're all strangers in a strange land, aren't we? But if you're willing to pay me... the woman pats the dust of her leggings and gives you an exaggerate curtsy. Where did I leave my ambassadorial manners? She flashes a mocking smile. McWinneth, pleasure to meet you. Oh great, a politician. He lifts an eyebrow with a blushing smirk. For the time being, though, I'm just another Estramore, minding her own business. You're lying through a teeth, you're not minding your own business. You're complaining loudly about everything. What help precisely do you need? My friends have drawn some unwanted attention. And it looks to both sides, only for uninvited listeners. Glanfasen scouts, not just any mob of local zealots, the Fangs. She pauses to let the name settle in the air. The Fangs are a brutal, relentless bunch, eager to make an example of troublesome outsiders. As for why I need your help, her smile widens as she speaks. I need someone to warn the expedition that trouble is coming. Need someone ready to fight, if it comes to that. She taps her hand on the pommel of her estoc. With any luck, we'll reach my friends before the Fangs do, but if not, Fangs have a reputation to uphold, and so this might require spilling blood. Why aren't you with the rest of your friends? Why not warn them yourself? Her posture stiffens at the question. It was my turn to handle Far Patrol. I spotted the Fangs on my track back to camp. I knew that rejoining the main group would risk leading the enemy right back to the expedition. I know the woods and I know how to stay quiet, but I didn't want to stake my friend's life on my ability to sneak past expert hunters like the Fangs. Where exactly are your friends? What sort of area, what sort of expedition are we talking about? Are you trying to go in a ruin? One of their holy ruins? Right under their nose? Question mark? Because that sounds like a dumb idea. They notice me warning my friends we'd have been overrun. Alice tilts her head to the side and points to you with a grin. What if they notice me and some reinforcements, like say you? Well, at least then we can get them off or put up a good fight. It sounds like a very, very weak reason to spill blood. What did your friends do to draw the attention of the Fangs? Just setting foot in Eglantras is a good way to find the traps. Yes, it is technically speaking. Don't know how they picked up our trail. I suspect one of our newer scouts didn't cover his tracks well enough. When I spotted the Fangs, they were retracing a path that the expedition had taken days before. Tell me about your expedition. I like to think we are on a mission of reclamation, that's a shrewd smile. You said that our armies left behind many valuables in their hasty retreat from Eglanfelf and the end of the War of Black Trees. The way I see it, we're simply gathering up what our ancestors left behind. I hope the Glenfelsons agree with me on this, she adds with a dimpled grin. No, they're probably not. You invaded their lands, they fought you back. Now you're here like, you want to take the stuff that my ancestors who came here illegally left behind. Would you mind? Yeah, they probably will mind. Just a little bit. Oh boy, this is such a idiotic idea. My expedition set out from Defiance Bay, which is burning right now, heading directly east to cross into Glenfelsen lands. Split off once we arrived at the Bale, the natural frontier between our nations. The plan was for me to keep my eyes on the Glenfelsens while the main troop scoured the target area. For days we eluded them. She walked a finger over the back of her leather glove, leaving a trail on its dusty surface. The Fangs got wise to her presence. Also, I know these lines are all about, giving me a bit of extra, but why the fuck are your gloves, your leather gloves, the things you should be using quite often, dusty? What sort of dust are we talking about precisely? Because if you're talking about normal dust, that does not make much sense. Your hands are pretty much amongst the things you move the most. If you have them in gloves the whole day, you would move that gloves quite a bit the whole day. There's no way reasonable that dust would be gathering on them. If not, you had deliberately held your hand still for quite a long while, which... that gives me more questions, actually. Yeah, let's point out the actually elephant room. Your friends are trespassing. By local custom, they're criminals. Gwyn thrown some links at you several times. You'll forgive me if I'm not sympathetic with face painters and their barbaric laws. I'm not pretending that what we're doing is noble. I just don't believe trespassing is a crime that warrants execution. Maybe not, but you're not even denying that you are you're in their lands. Quite literally. You're stealing from them at this very moment. You admit that it's not a noble thing you're doing. You're aware that what you're doing is wrong. Okay. And so you're like, but it's not it's not really your right to choose what is the punishment for any given crime if you're committing it at somebody else's lands. Come on, woman. Please. Be reasonable here. But then again, I really don't want to get them murder-cated over that. Maybe I can actually send them home and get some money out of this. Yes, let me try to justify this for myself, and, well, if the Fangs should come out of hiding and find us while we are there, I might just stand aside and let them do their bloody work, because I'm not getting involved in that at all. I have no reason to piss off the so-called barbarians in this case. Well, I'll help you if it's not turning sour, that is. Smiles with an overt display of dimples. Excellent, I knew I would count on you, she needs and whispers. Assuming the Fangs didn't already get them, my friends should now be at around the Pilgrim's Trail in the North Veld. The plan was to camp along a trail leading to a temple of healing. Why are you camping along a trail leading to a temple of one of the worship gods here? Are you honestly going to tell me you're also trying to plunder a fucking temple? You people get more suspect by the fucking minute, don't you? This is not going to turn out well, is it? Find my comrades. Warn them the Fangs are coming. Let them clear out of the forest. I'll head out first on my own to see if I can't lead the Fangs astray and buy some time. She pulls her wristlock a few inches out of its scabbard and cracks a smile. You got a smile on us, you won't have to draw steel. Should it come to that, I'm glad you're on our side. Oh, don't count on that, woman. I'm more of a mercenary zone. I'm interested in making money, sure, but I'm not interested in getting myself killed for no bloody good reason. Yeah, very communicative, and you're one of those. I mean, it's nice, honoring their beggars and whatnot. That's a nice gesture. I always did like that, and technically speaking, Obsidian did it in a good way in that they made it clear what is, basically excess stuff and what is not. All nice and dandy, I would say, but just too much, isn't it? I mean, considering they kind of got precisely what they were asking for in a way. Mostly because Obsidian during that time was making heavy words like, oh, no, our Pillars of Eternity, give us money so we have creative freedom and can do what we want. We are going to give you a new Baldur's Gate. It's going to be all nice and dandy. Which, to be true, they did kind of start something nice, but no. One should be very, very careful in throwing such names around. Baldur's Gate, especially if you talk about it as an IP and that you are willing to go there, you should be very careful with that. You're going to piss off a lot more people than you're gonna make friends with such mentionings. Oh, I believe you me. I've heard that one too many times. Like, oh, no, it's going to be the next Baldur's Gate, believe us. We know what we're doing. Yeah. Like you too. God is like, I'm going to confront him now. Then he looks at us and he's like, nope. I'm not even going to talk to you. I'm going to run away now. God places his way between you and the path that leads beyond the gates. Still Estromor. The rest of the city is forbidden, except by order of one of the Anamphasal. Trespassing Twinhams is punishable by death. Nice spear, compensating for something. Yeah, let's piss them off. I mean, they have let us into the city. They have not yet done anything to make us overly nice, but slams the butt of a spear into the ground. I don't take insults from your kind, much less in your clumsy tongue. Another coarse word from you, and I'll show you how the three-tusked Stelagar are trained with the spear. Didn't take well, eh? To let yourself get insulted by a woman, did ya? To be fair, when you present me with an option like that, I kind of click on it just to see what happens. Also, I kind of had, oops, no, don't do it. And I had a quick save not too long ago, so we would have basically have to re-go a few steps, but that's all. Not much risk. It is kind of tempting, isn't it? Just sometimes, just sometimes. And you're not gonna let me go out here either. And he too is like, nope. Do not try my patience, Estromor. You shall not pass without the permission. Yeah, but okay, let's not piss them off more. I think we have done enough pissing off for one day. Because I'm pretty damn sure at some point this is going to end with me getting speared. And sadly, I don't mean that in a good, nice and erotic fashion, but more in a very much ouch, I have a metal thing in my gut and it hurts like hell kind of fashion. Hello. Careful sword solves much indeed. Battle's shadow creeps around the days. Okay. Let's steal some more stuff then. I mean, nobody cares about some mushrooms and such, at least. Yes, the market, but I guess since technically speaking you're supposed to go in here and talk with the leader. That much is what I assume is what we need to do. Because only one of the leaders can give us permission to get to the rest of the city. We are of course going to go everywhere else first and see what we cannot get our hands on. Quest-wise and materials-wise and such. This is only good and proper. You don't even mean that. Welcome to my home, Estromor. I'm Lindsay, healer and guide. What brings you here? Oh, tell me about yourself then. The locals have called me a wise woman. A term of respect, I'm sure. Which makes me feel my years. I'm an herbalist and healer. I spend most of my time caring for the ill, helping with the delivery of children and making remedies for those in pain. You are indeed a wise woman then. If you do all that. Also, midwife and stuff. I like your songbird. Does it have a name? Well, he does. She blushes. For some reason. But I ought not to have let my friend's daughter name him. name's long and rather silly. The short version is Beaker. She rolls her eyes and smiles. The next bird I have will be named after an amphibian. Okay. Where even is that songbird? Am I blind? Where is it? It's not on the fire now, is it? I don't know where that so-called songbird is, but apparently has a long and funny name. Which she's not willing to tell me, because it's apparently also embarrassing. What, did you... Is that basically the equivalent of naming your dog Wiener or something? Don't get me wrong, there are people who do that. I actually know somebody who did it. Yeah, I'm going to keep my distance. You're just going to get pissed off again. I know. Very, very unfriendly. Though understandable. It's their land, it's their rules. And I have to comply with that. Okay, we found someone. A first blade warrior. Oh, this looks like a fight, doesn't it?
Need something?
Bit of a problem that because I'm actually not with my usual group, so I don't really have my usual fighting capabilities with me.
I'm ready.
Yeah?
I'm just going to make this a bit of a pain in the ass if it goes down south. But,
Yes.
alas. An old, elven woman stands tall and proud, surrounded by Glanfesan warriors that study your every move. You speak on Renato's behalf, I presume. I knew he would convince someone to do his bidding. Did not suspect it would be the Estramoa involved in all the chaos at Defiance Bay. Whenever a old woman who has probably not left her hut in like half a decade or so, for anything else than, you know, basic necessities, is so well informed about the doings of the world. You're in your absolute conditional and lawfulness, and where was I going with that? Don't know. Basically, it's your right to call her a witch. She tilts her head to the side, humbling slowly. Does the presence of my armed entourage concern you? I'm expecting a defenseless shopkeeper, am I right? No. Woman, please listen. I'm an adventurer. I'm used to quests. I know that quests are never ever easy. They usually involve fighting. The only difference it makes to me is how much do you have and where am I going to position myself. And I'm just seeing that probably the guy in the back here, this here, and to the top left basically, is probably a druid, so I should probably have somebody there who actually keeps him busy from casting, but well, a bit too late for that. Larry raises her die-stained hand, just as one of her guards begins to lurch forward. Stillness! She barks at her attendant. Give the Estramoa a chance to speak. Well, thank you. Until now you have kinda... Make sure I don't say a word. We're not the wooden beasts. Here, hospitality reigns. I have some question about your definition of that, but... Okay, woman. Larry nods to you, holding up an open hand. Palm and fingers covered in blue and green dye. Envoy of the Valiant, speak the message you were sent to deliver. Well, first things first, I want to hear your side of the story before. The first step of any sensible path. She muses, scratching her chin. Renato did purchase from me several bushels of Elad Gula, and for it he paid a high price, but did so willingly, saying it was a bargain, right as he handed me his copper. It was after our trade that the Valiant spit his venom. Eli's voice grows angry. Renato accused me of trickery, of fraud, claiming I delivered wizard likeness of Elad Gula, not genuine root. Such nerve. For in truth, he is beyond the help of Elad Gula. Puts a blue-dyed finger in the air, before curling it down slowly. Smiling as he does. Renato's old bow isn't firm enough for a full draw. I see you have a nice metaphor there. Far better than mine, actually. I'm gonna steal that. No moment of Elad Gula will give him the spear of a young hunter. A fair deal was made, and now Renato objects. Angry that his wizard family plow is beyond herbal remedies. She shakes her head, her voice becoming a growl. I have never sold anyone a remedy I knew to be false. Renato does not silence his slanderous tongue. We'll do it for him. This is one of the very, very few moments where I would really like that the game would give me more visuals, basically. OT characters like a portrait, because she's basically claiming he's an old guy and he doesn't get hard anymore because he's old and frail and stuff, and probably has spent his life, you know, with enough debauchery and drinking and stuff to do horrible things to himself. Okay, it's an argument, but see, if he had an OD portrait of an old man, I'd be like, yes, that makes sense, but without such nice little things, and it's kind of hard to tell sometimes from these isometric perspective that we have here going on. Take some guesswork, basically. So, and what kind of punishment do you have in mind for Renato if he does not stop then? Renato has plundered his host, making him no longer a guest. The merchant must vanish from the Twin Arms. She crosses her arms under her sleeves. Yeah, well, shit, this is gonna get complicated. Unpleasant hospitality must be observed always. He is to be given a chance to leave on his feet before he bleeds on his back. Deliver in our name a warning. Tell Renato that if he does not leave, he will be accused of conspiring to pilfer Ingwithian relics from our lands. He won't risk a trial by the Council of Namfatha, whenever it was a small wooden cage from the folds of a robe. He won't listen, then that his faulty member went in a cage just like his black beetle, food for birds. Okay, I actually had to think about this for a second, this is why I kinda stopped, but you're actually saying what I think you're saying. You're saying that you're going to castrate him and put his thing into a little cage thing, which is basically a bird feeder. Okay, that's some punishment you have there. A bit in bad taste, mind you. I mean, I don't have the habit of taking my enemies' wieners, put them out on display and let the birds feed on them, because imagine waking up one fine morning, going out of your castle, and the first thing you see is a wall lined up with small little metal cages in which an endless bunch of wieners just hang around, half eaten by birds. I don't know about you, but as a man myself, I find that view to be somewhat disturbing. Maybe if I were a woman that'd be different, but you know, I'd probably not be pleased with that. And that is putting it mildly. We can be smart about this. Oh, I like to be smart. The reputation of your tribe is tied to your actions. Is that how you want future trading partners to remember your kin? Huh, woman? The Glenfazen looks at Idaja. Faces alight with disagreement. A murmur of voices rises around the running stars. When Alari, eyes shut tight, stomps on the ground with force. Enough. Stillness again. Why don't you just let him step out? It's not like I was attacking you. Oh, planning to do. Well, okay, maybe a bit. She waits until her brethren's voice die down before opening her eyes. You speak with long-sighted judgment. Trait strengthens all of the tribes. And Renato's claim, false as it is, may spread to poison house. Absolutely right. This is the whole point why you should judge fairly. I kind of made that argument beforehand, but yeah. If you want the trade to grow, you need to have a judicial system here that is actually somewhat fair. If you're always judging in favor of your tribesmen, the traders are just not going to come here anymore because they're going to talk to each other and be like, no, this place is dangerous. You can't make a good deal there because they're basically going to steal from you, claim that you are the bad person, and you get shit. Who's going to trade with you then? Nobody. Not idiots. Actually, no, traders are by nature not idiots. They're trying to make money. That takes some skill at least. We'll suffer the indignity of letting this liar profit, if it means safeguarding the peaceful honorable accord of Twin Arms. No, don't worry, I'm going to talk to him about that. Lara pulls up one sleeve, reading a leather bag hanging from her head. The clinking of copper fills the room. Take this back to the Valian with the blessings of the Fisher Crane tribe. Good, that means both sides will be somewhat pleased. Best result in this case. Let's just give him back his money, he will go away, and nobody will be pissed off. Actually, he might at least consider doing some proper, hopefully, some proper nice messaging for the tribes, knowing like, you know, the tribes, everybody's like, they are all just barbarians and savages and stuff, but actually, they gave me back my money, they accepted that I, well, was an asshole about it, but that's not good. A tabby cat snaps out of its placid stupor as you approach. It opens its eyes wide, following your every step before trotting to your side to rub against your legs. You have gained an item. Orange tabby cat added to your inventory. How, why, and what? This fluffy orange tabby cat looks alertedly about the room, tail twitching. There was a small collar upon which is inscribed the name Pumpkin in careful letters. I actually look somewhat like my kitty. Also have a tiny beetle. Also have Animu as a pet. There's my little Animu. Actually, where do pets get stored? Is it here? No. It's here? No. What the fuck do you put? Oh, is it here? Yeah. See, I even have a tiny dragon and stuff. But where's my Animu? Doggy, Spidey, Piggy. I have them all. There it is. Tiny Animu. Doesn't he look cute? Then again, those pets are kinda annoying if you have them around. They kinda stand in the way, look strange, and honestly, it's not a very realistic look for an adventurer to have something like this running around. It's nice to have it around. In your inventory, of course. Hello, Protector. Provisions and trade happens in the market. Well, you don't say. I thought your market was urine or something. Well, maybe they're like, we have to explain such easy concept to those foreigners. Who knows how dumb they really are. Do we need to explain them what a market is? We kinda still have the problem that we can't really solve the 2 quests of my little companions, which is the whole reason why I have them in my inventory. Yeah, that's why I have them with me. Because he would need to talk to the druids, which are in a district we can't enter, and she needs to talk to the bosses. And I don't think the boss we have here is enough actually for that. I think we need to get a bit higher up the line. To broker a trade agreement. And still, even after almost an hour of exploration, still no hot twins. And yes, let me once again reiterate, in case you're wondering how one comes up with such nice and ingenious titles. I had an app pop and go like, what people near you? And I was like, nice. I want to now claim that as my own. Child, let's talk to the enemy of all mankind. Oh, as usual, they do not have anything to add to the conversation. Sad. A Defiance Bay commoner. The trade with the tribes has resumed.
Estremor?
This tall woman is clad in fur tights. She settles a sharp, dark-eyed gaze on you. I hold here the best tights in Erglanfirth. Tights so thick a Stilgar cannot claw through. Interesting. Boots so supple they will smother the sound of your steps. I'm not going to claim that I do not have interest in boots that will make me more silent, but you're right now talking to one of my knights. They have, heavy on. What's your trade? A weird on my skin. I sell hides from every one of Galabane's beasts. Estremor come from every village to see them, and know us for great hunters. Every hide bears the tale of a great hunt, and our traders bear them in turn to every corner of all lands. May I see your worst then? Exceptional stuff, hide armor stuff, edit armor. It's not bad, just nothing I really need.
Builder's wisdom to you.
But it's only 2 options then. I see. It picked as best above all else. Fine bows and axes too.
Many blessings, traveler.
The thick-framed woman smiles broadly as you approach. I see that you heard it. A good blade has a voice, and it sings to its wielder. What weapon called you forward? Tell me about your craft. My weapons speak for themselves, and every man and woman in this market knows my worth. Even the Tamra. I bear the knowledge of my father held, and his mother before him. Take one of my blades, and the older weapon 5 generations in the making. They say I should not waste such fine weapons on Estremor. I say a good weapon lying on a rack is the true waste. Yeah, it's actually not a bad argument, especially not for a trader. Some special weapons. Not bad, woman. Not bad indeed. And we have the more normal stuff. Some Fine shields in the large variant, small variant, medium variant. There's some actually good plate armor, Jesus Christ. And the helmet of Darksea. +2 perception, that's not bad at all, actually. Not bad at all, actually. I'll give you that much.
Hail, Estremor.
Food for your travels. I hold here many dishes, cheeses, and fresh fruit. Let me about your trade. Ah, my life is simple and makes a poor tale. I tend the gardens and my herd. My family picks delicious fruits you see behind me. The gods have been kind. A common egg. A common fish. A common piece of meat. We can play this game all day long. Okay, so you don't allow me to just open them endlessly, eh? There's some nice things here, but most of that is really nothing I need. Camping supplies, however, those I need because I was actually running low on them, so I won't save at this moment, Estremor. What do you want? Yes, you will, foreigner. Don't expect more kindness from us than that. Don't worry. I will pay you handsomely. Common plain grows deep. Carol Golden is the name given to mixture typically used solely for ceremonial purposes. As Barbara is going into important battles, it is said to open one's awareness. And drugs. Oh boy. Ooh. Ah. Phew. Not seriously. It's so rare, then why can I buy it for cheap? You know what, let me buy all of your things. I've been collecting plants for like forever, so taking a few more is probably not a bad idea. How much does it cost? 3,000. If I were to take all of your stones, how much would that cost me? 22,000. Sure, why not? Honestly, at this point, it's like, I have so much bloody money, I just don't know what to do with it. And I handle all of the trades, I'm just your apprentice. Yet then do something apprentice-like.
Hail, Estremor.
You may have the look of a hunter, Estremor. Draven's weapons might protect the woman who seek out misfortune, but my supplies will help you to survive out in the wilds. Well, then show me what you have. Okay, I see what you mean. You have guns. You're an American, aren't you? All jokes aside, it's just a pistol. That's also just a blunderbuss. You do not have a arquebus of the special named kind. And you have Dragonac. You have not a lot of interesting stuff, but nothing even Spider figurine. What is that? Summon Widowmaker, 2 times Widowmaker Spider. Ooh, 80 life size. This will not come from what appears to have been a single block of dark stone. To red jewel little eyes, granted the illusion of life. Nice, and I could actually buy that. And then I could summon some actual fighting pets. Honestly, I'm somewhat tempted, but let me say that this. My point is usually like this. Summoning spells are nice, and in some games they're actually part of the system well enough that they play well. In Baldur's Gate, for example, where your hit ratio is just horrendous sometimes, summoning creatures as a bit of extra meat shield is actually a valid tactic and is quite encouraged, actually. You want to play reasonably. On the other side of the argument, though, in many other games, I found that using the summoning excessively actually leads to breaking the game somewhat badly. If there is a fight you really can't win, for some bloody reason, do try to look around for items that allow you to summon things, and first try to determine just how much can you summon. For example, I'm pretty sure that Spiderling thingy is not the only, well, summoning spell there is. If you can summon like 10 or 20 creatures. Yeah, let's just say you're going to win that fight, probably. It's not going to be looking nice, and the game might actually start lagging and stuff because it's probably not intended, but you know, it's an option. Keepers, Compass, Crane, Telegas, Arrows, Brambles. And this are all 6. And you are not letting me read that, eh? What an asshole. The Fisher Crane, the Stone Bramble, the Guided Compass, the Keepers of the Stone. Okay, who of those have I not yet pissed
Wait.
off?
I don't know if I should go through with this. Make the trade deal with the Anamenfath.
Why
If
not?
a Valiant deal with the Glanfarthings weakens the Deerwood, it could mean war for the Republics in the future.
What other option do you
I
have?
could put the idea in the Anamenfath's head that the Republics are not interested in exclusive trade, but limited trade of goods that they do not already trade with the Deerwoodans.
Hmm. Hmm. That's actually a very, very difficult question. It's not really the right thing to do. Neither for you. Honestly though, follow your heart. If you think this is right, then do so. I will. I'll have your back. Follow your heart. You know what must be done. Hello, person.
Another Estremor. What do you want?
A middle-aged, all-in woman stands at the back of the longhouse, an expression of irritation on her narrow features. As you approach, she takes a decisive step toward you. Well, technically speaking, I'm looking for another who passed through the city.
You Estremoran are given the freedom of our sacred city.
You sound like Lady
That
Webb.
you ask for this person is suspicious. There are reasons we don't
Yes, you really
let
sound like Lady Webb.
Estremoran roam our sacred city. Reasons I am coming to understand.
Has something happened recently? What did I care to think about?
Looters have grown bolder at the sites of the builders.
You don't
The
say.
people of Defiance Bay set fire to their own city.
Yeah, somewhat.
And every week, the 3 Tusk Stelgar bring news of more desperate settlers pushing at our borders, trying to escape their plague of Anolfane children.
Ah, you mean Hollowbones. Just say so. Suddenly, you feel the presence of someone else in the hall. Iana Memphis continues to glare at you. Something has stepped out of her skin. It reaches out to you.
Permitting more strangers the freedom of the city is out of the question right now. Go and be thankful that Anamfath Shimak doesn't sit in the passage of the Six today. He would not be so kind as I.
A vision of an all-in man appears near Bevel. He has the same green-brown fur, the hazel eyes as she does. Help me reason with them. He points behind you. Turning, you see the ghostly shapes of five other Anemphazer, another Orlin with tawny fur and a scarred face, a frowning dwarf, a black-furred Orlin, and 2 elves. You're the leader of the Guided Compass. I thought your tribe was more open to outsiders. Indeed, and it had earned us little respect from our peers. These are no times when trust comes easily. The spectral Orlin takes another step from her, setting his foot down with a slow, heavy motion. Tendrils of essence strain between them. He grimaces and leans forward, struggling against the gale. The angry Anamenthus winces. War, spectral Orlin voices in a rasping croak. They're headed for war. Remind them of Fairward's warning. Does Fairward's warning mean anything to you? Harold's soul image gasps. Taut threads of essence tug at him, drawing him back into the Anamorphin. He looks up at you again. Try to tell them. The Builder's souls have touched even the Estromorn.
You'd better explain yourself.
But you're any tribesman. Look from the Anamorphin to you. Swords, hands ready. The Builder's souls have touched even the Estromorn.
There's no way you could have known this saying. Not unless you are a Galuth on Anums, a watcher of souls.
Farewell tried to warn the other tribes about something. What was it?
Feralt's warning came before the Broken Stone War. Feralt, my ancestor on my mother's side, was Anamfoth of our tribe then. When the Estromoric farmers defiled the Builder's monuments, Feralt urged the other Anamfotha to patience. But
wow, that worked well.
Angrier voices prevailed.
And, what did he write then? That led to the War of the Broken Stone, didn't it? And then the War of the Burnt, Blackened Tree stuff?
Feralt believed that the invaders would be
I need
taught to
more coffee.
respect the Builders as we do. He also believed the Builders' souls had spread to all peoples, and that we should avoid needless conflict with others. More practically, he worried that a violent response would only spur further bloodshed across the generations, and you can see where we are today.
And this is actually my point. After 2 wars with the Direwood, his warning is more relevant than ever.
While Feralt's words were shrewd, they were ignored back then. Simply remembering his warning now will not undo the wars and the changes that the years have
No,
seen.
but it means that you can
There is
actually
blood
still
on these
learn, you
stones,
idiots.
And that is all anyone remembers.
Excuse me.
now.
Yes, but this is the problem. If anyone and everyone always only remembers the blood freshly spelled on their own home stones, then you will return to the cycle over and over and over again. It will be bloodshed of your kin, only for you to shed the blood of the enemy's kin, only for them to come back. Shed the blood of your kin, only for then you to go out and shed the blood of their kin, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on, until nobody is, well, left, or the next generation comes along, repeating the same fucking cycle. An image of a polished Ardra cube flashes into your mind. There's writing on the sides, but the image is too faint for you to read it. The Anamorph runs away from you and looks at the ground, gnawing a pointed claw. You can change the past, but your choices now still matter. She looks at you sadly. Yes, that is the problem. Oh boy, you don't like to be a leader, are you?
Another Estromor came through here a few days ago, and, well, letting him through was a mistake. One I am eager not to repeat. The Guided Compass tribe has a reputation for being too soft with Estromoran. One that will not be improved by my failure to stop this man who has desecrated our most sacred sites.
I get where you're coming from. Well, but that sounds like the man I came here to stop.
I won't repeat a mistake in my haste to correct it. We bar Twin Elms from Estromoran to protect the ancient places that the Builders left behind. The Builders left this heritage to us to defend, but they alone had access to it. On this much, at least the 6 tribes agree.
You again see the polished Ardra cornerstone in your mind. This time the image is clearer. Each face of the stone inscribed with a phrase you know by heart. You feel your lips form words. A gift from the builders of civilization to the guardians of their legacy. May the guardians watch the door while the builders keep the key.
These were the words given to the keepers of the stone.
I know.
Very well. The city is yours to explore. Tell the guard at the gate that you come to see the cornerstone with the blessing of the Guided Compass. If the gods have truly returned one of the Builders to us, Find the Delimgon of Ter Evron in Elm's Reach. If the gods have sent you here with a purpose, the Delimgon will know.
Oh well, oh well, oh well. Okay, let's make a save here before Pellegrina goes out and ruins her reputation. Ice cross again. Galus an Ammas, one of my companions, a representative of the Valiant Republics, wishes to discuss a trade issue with you. I'd like to know more about you. You don't have to get a compass like many Anamphas. I have leadership in my blood. And you don't like it, apparently. Our tribal authority is not strictly hereditary. We believe the strong leaders can impart a potential of the soul to the children and grandchildren, meaning they may succeed from a single line. So you don't believe in hereditary, but you practice it. Okay. Not strictly though, so basically if your son is an idiot, at least he is not automatically your leader. God bless you for that, because oh boy, that has ruined so many family lines. Like, you know, your king is great, his son, also growing up in those troubled times, also is great. His son has a pain in the ass to deal with, because he has no idea how to actually rule. Can happen, has happened, can repeat itself. Of course, with all that's happened here lately, I've wondered whether my family line coming to an end with me. How to say, if you had a smexy picture, I could be like, I'm not looking that bad. Somebody's surely going to. Well, you can talk to that merchant, you know, if you can heal his bow and get it to full string, then maybe he's actually willing to help you with that. Something else you would know. What are these 6 tribes? Our peasant society is divided into tribes, which are further divided into clans. Each tribe is united by a particular history or way of life. And clans are communities of families that live together. Families are the smallest units then. In truth, there are more than 6 tribes, but the 6 largest have traditionally led the others. Each of the 6 has a seat here in the Passage of the 6. They discuss matters of common interest. You saw, for instance, the debate that occurred before the Broken Stone War. The 6 tribes are the Keepers of the Stone: Fisher Crane, 3-Tusked Stelgar, Stone Bramble, Twice Split Arrows, and, of course, the Guided Compass, or the Keepers of the Stone. They are the first and oldest of the tribes. When they first sailed to Air Glanfirth, they met the Builders, who gave them the cornerstone, and those words you quoted, as a token of friendship. Many of the tribes, even amongst the 6, look to the Keepers for guidance and leadership. Their long history grants them a place of honor in our society, though it has also made them more conservative, in my observation. Back to you about Fisher Crane. Mostly Orlan tribe from the Seinborg. Most of the sites they guard are half buried in the wetlands. Even the other tribes couldn't tell you where they are. She crosses her arms. They are not the most renowned of the tribes, but they are the cleverest and subtlest. Say what you will about the berserkers of the 3-Tusked Stelgar. I'd rather face them than a Fisher Crane ambush squad any day. What do you know about 3-Tusked Stelgar? Same as everybody. They are fearless maniacs, and they want everyone to know it. They are considered a wild bunch, even among long pheasants. Many of the territories have seen the most conflict with the Estromor. They don't forget it. They don't want anyone else to, either. Basically, they're made from the rooftops then. Inflicted and bore some of the heaviest casualties in the wars with the Estromor. In fact, there was a rift within the 3-Tusked Stelgar after the War of Black Trees. Dozens of clans broke away from the ravaged lands and retreated further into the Direwood, joining whichever tribes would take them. Broken Tusk, some call them. The majority of the tribe dug into the half-burned forest to hold the line. Many respect them for it. Understandable. Stupid, but understandable. The land is burned. It will take time for the land to heal. It will regrow, as long as you haven't, spent time to salt the land, quite literally. Then the burning and the ash should be good fertilizer for the ground, which should lead to fertility down the line, but still, you're sitting in a land that is burned. Which means your huts, your home, your heart is all gone, and you need to rebuild. That's taking some dedication to your homeland to do. Mostly because, living for a while with nothing and still being under attack by outsiders is not the most pleasing. Understand why somebody would break away from that. Absolutely. They've more than earned their place among the six, but they advocate more conflict than is wise, and too many others are quick to idolize them for their valor in battle. That's actually a mistake we do all the time, does. Quite human, actually. Tell me about Stone Bramble. Mostly dwarves out of the White March. One of the younger tribes, formed over the years by trade routes between the wilds and the mountains. They see themselves as genuinely Glenpheasant, though who can argue with them? Only Fisher Crane defends sites in such inhospitable territory. Jesus Christ, my brain refuses that word with a passion. Personally though, I'd say it's gone to the heads. They like to think the rest of us have it easy in the lowlands, forgetting that the wars with the Estromor never reached the mountains. Still, they came to raid during both. They are named for a tough, thorny little plant that grows up in the mountains. That suits them. I'm not familiar with the twice-split arrows. Not many are. They're traditionally outcast and exiled from other tribes. Probably the least respected tribe of them all, but our ancestors believed they should have a voice, and so they've got a seat among the six. Most of the other tribes see them as scavengers and bottom feeders, but don't say that to a twice-split arrow. They think them to survivors, and they're as proud of the tribe as anyone else. They'll accept anyone, and I suppose there's virtue in that. You never know what they're getting with them, though. Some clans rob you blind, and others slaughter a lamb for the honor of your visit. Which is precisely what happens when you bring people together from so many different potential sources. Not a bad thing, though. But yeah, I kinda think that giving them a voice is probably a far better way in the long run than trying to ignore them. The Guided Compass is your tribe, right? Indeed, we're one of the younger tribes, not one of the most prestigious. We try to keep the peace with Estromor, which has earned us the reputation of appeasers among some of our hardline brethren and Three Tusks Stillegar, the Keepers of the Stone. We value our heritage as Glenpheasants, but we recognize that Estromor are here to stay. The way we see it, we can better follow our mandate to protect the places of the builders by making peace with our neighbors. Indeed. Let's make a save again and then go for negotiation with Pellegrina. The Jordan turns her gaze towards Pellegrina. Yes, the valiant godlike, blessed by Hylia. Bristles and quickly spits out a response. So they say. Her face shows no outward emotion, but her voice betrays annoyance at Pellegrina's interruption. And diplomat of the Duke's belts. I understand you were to be sent here with trade assurances from your masters. Revert Anamenthreath. It is true that I was chosen to convey these assurances, but understand that I was fashioned more for war than etiquette. When it smirks slightly, in these dangerous times, perhaps it is better to send warriors to do diplomats' work. Remus has a weak smile. Indeed, Anamenthreath. Regarding the exclusive trade agreement. Voice quavers slightly, and the golden eyes dart in your direction. No, not my head, smiling warmly. Go ahead, I believe in you. Regina steels herself. The Republics feel it would be in the best long-term interest of all parties that you maintained your traditional goods traded with the Direwood. The Anamenthreath's long ears pitch forward. A strange turn. What do the Republics want then? Pellegrina speaks quickly, but confidentially. Taondra Tara pearls. Trade will be picking up quickly on them in the Eastern Reach. You will buy them exclusively from us for the next 5 years. In exchange, we will be your exclusive market for Adraban and Karagolin for the same period. River considers Pellegrina's words for several long moments. An interesting proposition, Valian. You will send emissaries south to discuss the details at greater length. Your appearance here speaks well of your duke's intentions. Pellegrina bows deeply, revered Anamenthreath.
That's it. My position in the Brotherhood gone. I can't believe I just made up new trade terms to the Glanfath and Anamenfath. Postinago.
Well, Pellegrina, you did the right thing for the Republics, even if the dukes can't see it from their vantage. Deal with their disapproval later. Here we will once again make a very important distinction. She is my comrade, my compatriot, my companion. I will let her run freely and choose her own mind. If she is head on this, yes, that is the right path to go. Objectively speaking, though, I kinda disagree. The Dukes probably have a lot more wide-reaching view on how things should be going. It's basically like in the military, for one example, but how it is in many a big company or any bigger endeavor. You basically have a somewhat need-to-know basis where the lower levels, the foot sloggers, basically do not really get all the information to, you know, the big picture. Because they don't need it. Not to do their job, not for anything else. There's no need. It's just wasted breath and time and energy. While people higher up the chain usually get a lot more information. Without those information, making an informed decision is not really possible. And she's just doing that. She's a footslogger. She's making a decision that far outstrips her view, her vantage point. Even to the point of going against the dukes. For a belief that has no basis, basically. On the other hand, though, and that is the interesting part, you can turn this whole thing around. If your argument is that a footslogger is acting outside of his predetermined and acceptable parameters, then that means that your organization fails in actually instilling the sort of loyalty or fear or whatever in your footsloggers to follow orders, which means your system is fucked anyway. Isn't it nice how you can turn that just around on its head? Be a little mean about it. You can deal with their disapproval later.
Verus. They have a saying in Biajepe. New gold clears even the oldest debts. If I'm right, all will be forgiven. If not, there's nothing I can do about it now.
True. At the very least, you're willing to accept the consequences of your actions, which is something I can respect. That saying is kinda nice, but it doesn't matter if the gold is new or old. It will clear every debt, even the oldest ones. There's a better saying, I kinda don't have it top of my head, but it's also something along the lines of how money can clear debts just as well as blood. There's a bit of history to that saying, and this is probably me horribly changing it for my own pleasure, but the basic essence is that yes, no matter if you're using the intended money to clear your debts or the blood of your people, it can also be used to clear debts in multiple ways, either through, for example, slavery, servitude, through a simple act of murdering people, or other such nonsense. There's a multiple ways to interpret that saying, and most of them are not nice, let's just say. That actually completes the quest. You don't even have to get back and be like, oh yeah, we did it. Give my branding rose from stealing you in trade. In doing so, she prevails relation with Reign of Die, but in Republic, but ultimately gain nothing from the steal, putting you will lose a position. She will, yes, most definitively. Actually, if the city is open again, we can go back to Copper Lane Catacombs and deal with that. Give the money back to Renato. We shall do so off the way out. And we have just done this, so technically we can now get rid of Pellegrina again. I mean, she's not a bad character. And I remember in my first playthrough when I played another class, I had her with me because I do like the Paladin in this one. So she became somewhat of a rather standard member of my crew at that time. On the other hand, Eloth was not, because I think I actually played a mage. Yeah, actually I think I did. Why did I do that? Northsong District, Emsreach District, okay. I mean, we kinda did all we can do in this district, so we shall probably go back, see if we can actually get into Defiance Bay again. We can see what we can get there. On the way, get rid of Berligine. Plays up with... actually who? We might actually be taking either my little barbarian with me again, or my grieving mother, just for the quest.
Gods keep you.
My friend, welcome back. Have you recovered my coin? I've got your coin back. Versus. Very eyes widen. His hands greedily snatched the purse. Belfetto! I had almost given up hope. How to count the coins. Mine with each clink of copper. My thanks to you, friend. With this I can finally restock my verse. Come find me at the Celestial Sapling. I'm sure I can find some choice items for resourceful customers like yourself. Pain in the ass guy. Doesn't really deserve much in the way of mercy, I'd say. I sure hope this is going to help with the trade relations down the line. I mean, you know, one can hope. I have nothing else. There he is. Show me what you've got. Traps, 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 traps. Okay, that does not sound good. Sounds like some drugs you have there. But give me the plants. Those basic materials are something I can actually do something with. I can work with those. I mean, let's be honest here, it's not like they cost overly much. I mean, what's a measly 5,000, basically. Now we have that out of the way too. The Northfield Wilderness, we have not yet been there. Since we technically speaking now have potentially access to the last bounty, let us go back to the big city and see how the city fares, I guess. Oh boy. Burning the whole city, that was not a nice move. And again, since the people in the city actually decided to burn their city, I guess. What am I supposed to say here?
Given your kind much reason to hope.
You get to a certain point and you realize you got two options. You can go mad with grief and tear out all your hair and check yourself into the sanitarium. Or you can wait for better days.
Well, feathers in my case. But I understand your point.
Well, yes, very much true. It's not so much optimism as it is realism that the Eosians practice here, which is like, well, we're fucked anyway, everybody hates us, so let's hope for better days then. And what else can you do, reasonably speaking? Well, the game allows me to travel here again, which is good. Guess we're going to take a trip there and see if anything new has happened. So the travel plan then should be like what? We can't go there yet, which probably means that we need to go from Old Song or from Elm's Reach. Maybe from one of those, but the mountains are kinda telling me elsewise. You know what I mean? So, Ketnua, Copper Lane, Blackenbury, Under's Gift, Heritage Hill, First Fires, none of the nonsense, the good nonsense, and we're done. Now I will actually look up the quest of the Grieving Mother and Mahara and see what do I need to trigger the next step, just so we do not waste our time. Because technically speaking, both would be good.
I must say, I'm impressed.
Sure. Something else going on. I know. Where are my quests? Hospital, Burden of Memory. Right, Burden of Memory. The Burden of Memory. The verse can't be progressed until the Iron Flail has been finished. What is that? The main quest in White March Part 2. Okay. Well, good, that's gonna take a while then. And the good thing with that is that means we actually have no reason whatsoever to bother with that, basically. Since we can go like away. Grieving Muscle, hello. Copper Lane, hello. It's good to be back into the city. Let's see how horrible the city looks after this. Looks like before, I'm kind of going to be disappointed. Because it should look like a ravaged place. Well, hours later. We're sitting in the loading screen going like, well, funny story. Looks a lot too cleaned up in my personal opinion. What do you need? You need stealth and mechanics. I'm assuming I was about to teach you. Ransack the enemy's intelligence and perception for energy, causing damage to those accuracy. Okay, interesting, but not really overly useful. Psychic backlash becomes especially traumatic, inflicting a small amount of raw damage to the target on a hit. I mean, it's all nice and dandy. Mark you. Nothing I really need. Snitch reflexes. Okay, let's take that because it's a class thing. And let's see, let's get your stealth back up nice and easy. As the target has mental strength and projects them outwards forcefully. Did inflict crush damage. Burns away the eternal sinew that holds together the mind, body, and soul, causing it to rapidly take raw damage. Targets that have their endurance reduced to 0 disintegrate into nothingness. Sounds nice. But enemies' memory of calculated accuracy, leaving them dazed and confused before rapidly jumping up to 5 other enemies. Yay, that sounds nasty. Oh, that sounds really nasty. But you really do learn everything, do you? Weapon focus, I'm not really going to good at it. Marksman gunner, dangerous implement. And I kind of think I want you to do this. It kind of looks good. Well, so far so good. Now then, we're back in the nice little city of Defiance Bay. And apparently everything has become normal again. Somewhat disappointing that, I'd say. All things considered, I had some higher hopes here, but alas, I can't really have everything, can you? Guess we should find out if there's anything else new around after all of that nonsense. I wonder indeed.
Hail and well met.
Doesn't really seem like there's much new things around. Yeah, it's kind of saddening, isn't it?
Nothing is closed to the perceptive mind. What you ask is done.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows, my little one. Hate to say it, but the legacy's been good for business. I mean, depending on what business you're doing, you can imagine that the quite with the legacy thing with the older one would be good for business. Not the nicest thing to say, mind you, but You know, it's an option. Yeah, for every merchant that is trying to be somewhat social with what he's doing, there's always got to be one.
Welcome.
Been out to Katnua yet. That's my fucking castle, friends. Okay, you're not gonna be happy if I try to steal from you, I'm assuming. Honestly, that is actually kind of the problem, you know? I'm kind of sitting here like, I would like to do a bit more, but I can't. Quite a problem, I'd say. Or rather, my problem is now I'm going to have to assume that there's probably nothing new going on in the nice city of Defiance Bay, which is kind of saddening. I kind of was like, well, at least having a few more people on the streets were like, phew, see those riots going on. Horrible shit, wasn't it? Okay, let's go down here.
Pleasant surprise traveling with you, Haravius.
Nice of you to say that. I was on the road alone for years, and I'm happy to have company for a change.
My part of the country has a saying about Orlans. Face of skin, let him in. Face of hair, best beware. But you're more like a skin-faced Orlan.
Are you fucking kidding me? Well, my tribe has a saying, head of brunette, they're all set. Head of blonde says everything wrong.
Wait, was that bad? I meant it as a compliment.
I think those two will get along swimmingly. Or what? When they start clearing up all of the, you know, individual misunderstandings they have. That is. Until then, they're probably going to be not too happy with each other, but alas, that's just how it is. Running around, doing good things. Oh, come on, even Dalton is back and standing there like, well, nothing has happened. This is a bit strange. Honestly, very much so. But what can you do?
Welcome.
Token's figurine. Okay. Even though we have been through this area, we kind of overlooked something apparently. Ooh, an assassin. Many an assassin. Well, I mean, if they let me get into position, you know, I'm more than happy to make use of that. Who am I going to send first? How about you?
Hey.
No.
Okay, I know you want to go forward. I know, but please don't do it. Because we plans to spring up in there. Fall and heal ladders in the area of effect. Rod skulls. As acting as ranged weapon. Yeah, that sounds nice. And what else do we have? Killing Bolt and Phantom. We have a Death Ring, don't we? Yes, we have. Again, I knew it would probably do something horrible, and let's just say I was not disappointed. I wished for horribleness, I got horribleness. We might have become a bit too strong for some simple assassins to
Sorry, I don't call forth the Stelgar just to haul your garbage.
What? Nobody asked you even to change, you bloody bastard. You wonder why Orlans are so hated. No wonder they're snippy like that. I can't remember, I'm not gonna call forth my thingy bob for your stuff. Written on a scrap of parchment is a concise but detailed description of you, including your name, your distinguishing features, and everyone you are known to have associated with in your brief time in Direwood. Well, they're trying their best, I suppose. That's going to help that much because, well,
Welcome.
I'm not really made of niceness, let's say. All of these flowers? All of these are flowers, sure. We spent this episode spending a lot of money, didn't we? Well, I mean, to be fair, money exists to be spent. If you don't spend your money, you're kind of doing it wrong.
Good day, stranger.
Putting it mildly. This is all going to be the stuff that gives me bony. I mean, that's all nice and dandy, mind you, but actually, it might actually be a good opportunity to sell some of my stuff. The idea someone tries to burn the city down. At least I won't be around the next time it happens. He's the only person who's like, did you see them trying to burn the city? And I'm like, yes, I was kind of involved in that, my friend. We have some lockpicks. Now then, sort by value high to low, and let's just go to the clicking randomly. Because I actually do want to take a look into these books, just in case. Now, I don't think, to put it mildly, this is something I shall be doing much of, because honestly this is going to take for bloody ever if I try to do it. And let's be honest here, I don't really want to waste your time nor my time doing that, so I'm going to do it, you know, when nobody's looking. Doing it nice and dandy. A lot more reasonable. Honestly, the music is kind of nice for most of the part. I kind of wish they would be a bit more concise with the actually playing of that music. Honestly, give me a bit more. Is there a setting for that actually? Sound setting, smash the volume. I do like the volume. I would like to have a bit more consistency though. They kind of take some long breaks where you adjust with the ambiente. I mean, the ambiente is nice too, and it's important to have a good ambiente, but you know, kinda would like a bit more of the music, especially when I'm running around the city at night. Just give me something nice to listen to. That would be somewhat pleasing, not just, you know, chirping of the birds and insects. It's the headquarters of the Dozens, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to be much welcome here. Thank you, string of actions. I know, but I'm never using that because I kind of want to keep it on the basis of one action at a time. When it comes to RPGs, I'm still kind of just thinking in turns, basically. Yeah, finally we see that those animances and the lackeys in the Crucible Keep are really up to a limit of time. What was your part at the rights? Uniting City against the Knights, of course. They made their intentions clear, and their pet animator assassinated the Duke. A lot of blood in the streets. Shame to lose so many good men and women, but we had to act. Oh, fuck's sake. You act. Sounds. This was not a... Don't make this out to be some justified reaction. Fuck's sake, I was involved, and I can tell you that was nothing like it. This was just people going frenzy. Yeah, I can't believe it's good for business. Truly, a finer merchant soul has never existed, eh? Still, I'm not happy with that. Somebody's going to rewrite this to sound very much like they are the heroes of the day. And, not gonna be my friends. In fact, I'd say this is gonna be horrible. And I don't like that very much. You survived it, eh? Got too close to the fight myself. A bright burn mark on his right arm oozes pus. That's a better emblem than anything those knights were. you do know that the Crucible Knights did... I mean, don't get me wrong, any big organization is not going to be without fault. That applies to the Knights too. I'm sure there's more than enough corruption going around. But the same thing is A, true for you, people of the dozens, and B, the Knights weren't just bad. They did keep up quite a bit of the good lore. And technically speaking, isn't the fact that the Justicars are still around, the fact that the Knights are still around. Because as far as I was aware, those Justicars are actually part of the Knights. Maybe some misunderstanding on my part there, might be, but somehow don't think so. Oh, hello cat. Yeah, at least it shouldn't take overly long to get all the Tarpean City done if there's nothing new. Honestly, if the Copper Lane doesn't give me anything new, then I don't think I really need to bother with talking with everybody everywhere. You know, just getting the basics done and be happy with that. You only have trucks. I don't want your trucks, you idiot. With any dark, it is a very easy to understand conception. You're supposed to consume it, not be consumed by it. Well. And again, it's not like I'm completely free of my own little weaknesses. I mean, I do like my coffee. Very much so. I do get very much in an unhealthy rage when you try to take it away from me. So, you know, not like I'm without weaknesses. Yeah, I do from time to time do like myself a nice drink, admittedly. Then again, you know. Considering my younger years, having a drink once every few months is, I believe, a rather reasonable way to go about it. Actually, what I always like to say, take it in moderation. That doesn't mean that your head count aren't allowed to have it at all. Very important distinction there. People don't like getting stuff forbidden. But, may not enjoy the moderation.
Hey, I'm sorry about what I said before. About the skin-faced Orlans.
It's all right. I knew what you were trying to say, and that's why I didn't gut you.
I didn't know I was saying something bad.
I get it. I get it. Let's just put it behind us.
Now that we're friends again, is it okay if I pet you?
What? No! Damn it, Adair! Is your family tree just one looping square?
He's trying so hard to be nice, but he just doesn't get it done because he's an idiot. When it comes to Orlan, it is. Like, oh, you're basically like a pet, aren't you? Do you want me to pet you? It's like, no, damn it. That's also a nice insult. Is your family tree one giant square? Nice. But yeah, it seems that, all things considered, nothing much has actually happened here. Like, some people are like, wow, there were some riots, but yeah, it's business as usual. Unbelievable how fast the people have returned to just doing shit. Though I do think that the sanatorium and stuff is probably going to be closed, but apart from that, I don't think there's going to be much going on. Which, honestly speaking, is kind of saddening. I kind of wish to see, you know, the city a bit more with all the buildings having some Sioux stain on their facades or something, and, you know, a few more smashed windows. And merchants going like, damn, those rioters, they stole stuff from me.
How do you do?
Something like this, you know? Something that really proves the point, just how horrible all of this was. That would be nice. Yeah, sure, you can't have everything, but still, that would have been somewhat pleasing. Well. You can't have everything. You really missed opportunity though. Again, as I was like to say, surely that would make a lot of work. Having to redo the whole map basically and stuff like that. Yeah, sure, that's a lot of money would have to invest. In my opinion, it would be worth it. It would be so bloody cool, but I mean, I can see how somebody could make a counter argument here. You like they had to develop more important things, like get a combat system. It is only very loosely based on the original Dungeons and Dragons. And honestly, maybe even a bit of the Pathfinder system, I don't know. I'm not very... Actually not at all used to the Pathfinder system. Which is why I'm somewhat interested in actually taking a look at one of the Pathfinder games. I mean, it is always going to be a thing that computer game is going to rape a rule set most fiercely, because you need to so much to implement it into a game. Otherwise, you know, quite a bit of that is not going to be well implemented. But it gives you an idea, and that is all you need.
Hello.
Yes, actually I have one of the early edition rule books, basic rule book for Dungeons & Dragons Lying Around, only to read up on some of the rules they actually apply into, or they try to apply to Baldur's Gate and see how the system was supposed to be. The, what is it, 3.0, 3.5 rule system, something like that. I'm not good with remembering names, but not precisely at least, you know. Which is why I'm sitting here like, you know what I mean. I would have to look up which one it is, but actually from lying around, explaining the basic actions and stuff, and honestly, by just reading that, I had a very hard time understanding it, which is also one of the main reasons why when somebody was like, hey, do you want to play in this nice little group here? I was like, yeah, even half a chance, yes, because then I can at least see how they try to apply this in practice. And well, it still was a very horrible experience, all things considered. More because of the people and the climate of the whole situation than anything else, mind you. Not so much of the rule set, but it was also a very learning experience. Makes me understand very much more how this was applied. Which is good. Okay, let's go. First Fire's Heritage, because in those two I don't expect much apart from just running around once. Andra's Gift is probably going to be a much more, and Brackenbury is sure. Then we end up in Copper Lane. We go into the sewers again and do a little bounty hunting, because that is why we're here. Then we can go back to the Twin Elms, basically, and prepare to go into the next area. Honestly, I don't expect much here. See, this is just too clean. It's basically like a day has passed since the riots were in full swing here. You remember the riots, right? And there were barriers here, there were fires around, and when you rage fire, here, see all of this marble statue stuff, and this should be blackened with suicide. It's not so much getting the fires out, it takes just a fucking bloody time to clean up all the things. The palace should be, you know, there should still be broken windows here, there should still be... It's really, for me personally, it's a missed opportunity for game immersion stuff. And I find that very important. It also makes a very good impression on me, if you are at least trying with me to showcase that. It's so cool, and it also makes a lot of sense. Can't believe the mob left this place in one piece. Duke Avergon, we got a work cut out for us.
Hail and well met.
I believe so, yes. This is going to be horrible. Especially because the Duke actually was not, well, a bad politician, I suppose. Finding Scott books and roads. yeah, kind of figured we couldn't be inside there again. Yeah, this is what I meant. There's probably not going to be much here. I'm actually interested in how the castle, the stronghold of the Crucible Knights looks, because let's just say I'm not expecting much, but I want to see some really cool things, like at least that building should be somewhat attacked. It should look like a siege that, not like a siege, like a castle that, a stronghold that was besieged, something like that, you know? Yeah, I remember coming here, and I remember seeing the barriers and the people. Some blood stains on the floor, please, because, well, rebuilding stuff comes first, and so basically, you know, fixing the structures and stuff comes first, then comes cleaning up. So the fact that everything is clean again is kind of just annoying. It's annoying me fiercely, somewhat fiercely indeed. That's all of those details, really. That's what I'm looking for in a game, interestingly enough. I don't give much of a shit if your word is believable, but if you have the option, and you can't say that Obsidian Entertainment, of all bloody things, did not have the opportunity to go all out here. They had more than the opportunity to do so. Sure, they might have other priorities. Sure, it's all fair. I'm not the one making the game, it's not my decision to make, I get it, but still, I can still sit here years later and go like, I would have done this differently. Actually, one of the nicer things, you have that option at your disposal. Some more coffee. Eat that too. This looks all too clean. Watch you step in there today. Every man and woman in this morning for comrades. Some of them are just looking for an excuse. Well, then call my excuse, and let's just say I'm more than willing to take it. If they're dumb enough to attack me, then oh boy. None of this is such it pisses me off. That's a fragment of an ancient sword. Do you think you could repair it? It's a fine blade indeed. You want one fragment in the rough hands. Looks Edrin. Special made. Must have been a commission for a champion of some sort. Sort of this caliber would have had a specially designed hilt too. Shame to graft anything else onto it, and besides, balance best with all of the original pieces. You find the rest of it, I'll forge it for you. Yeah, it's actually good to know. We found a swordsmith willing to repair our blade if we find the rest of it. It's good to know. There's such a wasteful thing. So much missed opportunity. That is really saddening me. That would have been fucking cool. Honestly, if I had an attention to make in the game, then something like this, the actual... I know how they always focus like, but your decisions matter. No, let's be very honest, in fact they don't. They give you the illusion that your decisions matter, and that is all. In fact, that's ever going to be able to give you. So instead, tell a good story and show the people your story. I think that is actually a lot better. See, a small change, and this is something somebody's going to see. Yeah, the people you're trading here, yeah? Okay. We saw this quite a few times around here. After all of this nonsense with the writing, just take all of them here and give them a nice little sitting here, down here. And when you click on them to get little lines, just have them mumble something about, yeah, there's so much blood on the streets or something. But, you know, that gets you into the mood, it gets you immersed. It was a slaughter indeed. Slaughter of mostly innocent people. Yeah, see, that is something I would do. Or here, this is a bit of their religious part, you know, their chapel basically. Have some people just, you know, have some beds here basically with a few wounded moaning and some priests running around like these are far beyond help. We just brought in here so they can make their peace with God or something. You know? Show me the consequences of the story. Far more than the implied consequences of my actions, which, as we all know, bullshit. I mean, not all games make it as obvious as the third, I think, was it? Yes, it was the third Mass Effect, where it's like, choose your color. It's all gonna be the same in the end, but choose your color anyway, to have an ending. The city falling down around our heads. Those damned fools from the dozens of daggers in the streets. I'd like to realize one of them. Yeah, I think the city is kinda in a bit of a state where it's like everybody hates everybody. Yeah. Yeah. I think I have now aptly described what I want. I think people have a far chance to understand what I mean. And oh boy, I would much like that. Can't have everything, I suppose. Quite saddening though. Missed opportunities all around. Especially from a game like this. From a role-playing game. That's really where you need to do something like this. That's where you can impress people with that. After all, games like this are driven quite literally by their own story. Which is mainly the reason why I kinda hate the idea when people are like, oh yeah, no, that's all about choice. No, it's really not. In the long run, the end of the game, its world, my decisions are somewhat unimportant. Name a leaf. I'm getting blown around by the winds that are the stories. And that is pretty much how it is. You can't change that. Not at all. Of course not, because real freedom cannot be really implemented in a game form. That's not going to work. Imagine, for example, you have the same freedom in game that you have in real life. No, technically speaking, I have the freedom to go to the kitchen, take some of my cutlery out, go into the street, and step the next best person. That's the freedom I have. These Triwudians are mad. The Duke is murdered and suddenly nearly burned down the city. It will be a relief to return to Rosia. Belina said you could use my help with something. Yes, very true. If you had heard word of Master Vernisano's death, it is regrettable even here to know that this fate was a possibility, given the sort of people he was crossing. But on to business. A rather notorious adventuring party calling themselves the Forgotten have made a name for themselves by raiding Amphibian's ruins in the Direwood, sending the stolen relics to their patrons back in the Valian Republics. I need him stopped. Sure you're aware that trade in Amphibian relics is strictly forbidden in Direwood. But known that prominent nobles in the Republic were flagrantly defying the Duke's ban on the looting, would be put a number of valuable trade agreements in jeopardy, even caused the fines paid to embargo Valian goods. Why don't you just have the Forgotten killed? I hear the town cries now. Valian ambassador hires assassins. Now that option is too risky for me. As I have no idea the smuggling is going on. I'm sure rumors have reached their ears, but if they suspected that there was any truth to them, they'd have summoned me before them. That hasn't happened yet. Not sure. Sounds like a job I get paid for. I'll help. What do you need me to do? Thank you. A prominent merchant in the Republics, Master Barcosi, has also developed an interest in obtaining Amphibian relics and sent a buyer to Defiance Bay to meet with the Forgotten. I arranged for the Knights of the Crucible to detain the buyer for questioning. I may have suggested that the buyer was a wanted criminal. I need you to go in the buyer's place, posing as Barcosi's representative. You know how the Forgotten are smuggling the relics through Defiance Bay. With that knowledge, I can take steps to discreetly dismantle the operation and discredit them in the eyes of the patrons. There's nothing else. I must return to my duties. Tell me about the Valian Republics. They're rich in all ways, in wealth, in style, in culture. But to go to the Republics, you would not want to leave. Why would you? The people are beautiful and charming. I am here because the Songretta Ducala wish it. But when my appointment is done, I will be on the first ship out, and I will sink from here to Salona. What do you do here? As the Valian ambassador, my job is to ensure trade with the Direwood remains strong and profitable. Yeah, sure. Well, we found at least one more quest. That's a good thing, I'd say. I didn't even know that there was a quest here. At least I didn't remember. Let's make a nice little save game.
I shall do as you ask. What you ask is done.
Nice. So much money, no risk whatsoever. Let's do this again then. As long as nobody sees you, it's not really
I
stealing,
shall
or is
do as
it?
you ask. What you ask is done.
Also, we're getting XP for that, which is also somewhat agreeable with me personally. What was that quest? Go to Edelwan Bridge. What am I waiting for by at Edelwan Bridge? Okay then. It's kinda not really a quest for many character because it requires subtlety instead of, you know, brutally murdering them. Bananas.
So, Alof, have you ever woken up to find your other half used your body during the night?
I don't think I understand you. And I'm not sure I want to.
Well, I've found that if I go to sleep hungry enough, I wake up covered in blood and delightfully full.
So what you're saying is basically like, if Olaf goes to sleep horny, he's probably going to wake up feeling a lot less horny. Interesting idea there. But yeah, actually, yeah, he has two souls, so if he's not too aware of that, then technically speaking, yeah, there's an option there. Damn it, I want to get my spear a bit polished. Yeah, let my other half handle that. I'm sure that's a good idea. Especially considering her very nice ways, you know, that's gonna end up just splendidly. Well, let's take a short trip to Heritage Hill. There's, as usual, not much here, and without the undead, there's even this here. That too is kinda sad. I mean, we cleaned this out, and as part of the main quest, you kinda need to solve the situation either way, so at least there should not be any undead here anymore, right? There should now be people in here. Making at least some Justicas being in here, making some adjustments, assessments basically of the situation, going like, yes, we see the damages, yes, we see the corpses, maybe some corpse fires going on, you know? Showing that, yes, we're cleaning up here. Such cool details. I think that is a lot more important. Showing me actually the progress of time. Because that is something you can display a lot easier than showing me the progress of my choices. Even just giving me a simple yes and no choice, which have two wildly different outcomes, would mean that you would have to program two very different ideas. If it involves a group, for example, that would mean that a group has to react in two completely different ways to you. That's a pain in the ass to, you know, implement. So, don't overdo it with that. In the end, it's an illusion anyway, because even if I have one group going, you know, like very different paths, depending on what choices I make, it is still not going to change the overarching storyline, no, is it? Of course not, because if you don't have an overarching storyline, you are not really having a game that progresses, a story that progresses anymore. No, instead show me progress of the overarching story, because that is something you should be able to do very, very easily, shouldn't you? Not they're not doing that. At least not often. In the case of very old games like Baldur's Gate, it's like, okay, I understand where they're coming from. Because, well, yeah, absolutely. Olden times, my friends. Different area. The modern days, however, especially, I mean, I do know that there aren't that many classical RPGs like this are made nowadays. It's not really a big market any longer, I suppose. I mean, I don't know. I never really looked at it at a market in any shape or form. Which is probably something I should remedy at some point, so I can actually talk some sense about it and not just impressions. But, you know. I have, after all, just opinions to share, to be fair. I'm not claiming any sort of absolute knowledge on the matter. And I probably will ever do that. That is a horrible idea. A certain someone is missing. Probably out and about, getting himself a meal. Nothing around here any longer. Well, I guess we can surely leave the Heritage Hill behind then and look at Brackenbury. I actually want to see if the sanitarium is actually burned down now, or if it is not burned down. I mean, the rest of the city looks far too clean. Actually, a day before we have our riots, now everything is cleaned. And in here in Heritage Hill, we have the precise opposite. We cleaned this out like a week ago or so, and still nobody's around going like, yes, let me assess damages. That is really annoying. That's really something that I'm missing. Yeah, but then again, to be completely fair, this is nothing that speaks against this game in particular. That is something that none of the usual suspects actually do that well. Sadly. Mondera's gift. I don't think we really need to get involved overly much. I've yet to find anything new after all of this nonsense. So the only real thing we can do in the city is to go into the copper lane again, go into the sewers, get that one bounty done, and then back to Twin Elms. And find those very much hot twins in there. Which have been kinda hidden for the moment. You know, everything seems to be a lot too peaceful. I mean, this is not how a city would look after the whole populace has rioted. Honestly not. This is one of the bigger cities. Now, I don't know what big cities mean in this context, you know, and how many that means in population, but let's just assume a few thousand. Let's say 10,000 for an easy to understand number. Okay, let's say that 10,000 people live in the city, and let's say that maybe, you know, 10% of those are somewhat military forces. And you have, of course, in this case, adventurers and other such folks, and then you probably have influx of travelers into the city, which heightens the number too. Merchants and the like. And I'll say that rioting is in full progress, which means that at least the most of the actual populace is going up in arms. Like we saw, people putting up barricades, burning stuff, all of that. Yeah, that's not going to be cleaned up in a day. Let's just say. There should be a lot of things. There should be blood on the street. There should be Zeus on the buildings. There should be rests of those barricades. Those burning barricades all over the place. And people should not just be going about their business. They should be really sitting around being sad and sorry and mourning their losses and stuff. Stuff.
This may prove useful.
Drugs. Yay, we found some drugs. I'm feeling not better about myself for some reason. But yeah, you get what I'm meaning, yes, yes? No, maybe, potentially, I hope. Also, the city opened up a bit too fast, honestly. That also is something they should probably have, at least not the whole city, let's say it like this. I mean, what would you, if you were an official of this city, and you just had, well, you had the riots, everything has calmed down, very fast apparently, would you open up the whole city to travel again? Personally, I wouldn't. I would keep it to maybe the market district so that, you know, the flow of goods gets into the city again, because you don't want your population to starve. You kind of need them to clean up their mess. But you really would be a bit careful, wouldn't you? It's basically still a bit of a, well, bit of an explosive situation, potentially. That is the whole. You probably don't want strangers running around and potentially bringing that thing to explode again. Violently. Bananas. To be fair, that last part is just my own personal idea in this case. It's not necessarily what you would do. Can't imagine you doing anything else, but
No, no. What's impressive is cleaving a man's spine without lopping the head clean off. That takes aim.
Did that once. My case was an accident, and I still wake up some nights feeling bad for him.
Jesus Christ. Some interesting debates going on. No. That takes real skill to do that. Oh yes, it does, but how do you manage to do that like as an accident? Yeah, that by itself. Some skill. Also, apparently I left some money sitting here. That must have been sitting there in-game time for at least a month. Heck, maybe even real time for about a month. When were the last time we were at Ondra's Gift? We didn't really have any reason to come here anymore now, did we? Yeah, okay, let's get the rest of our exploration done. Then to Brackenbury, which should be fast, back to Copper Lane and get it done with. Honestly, it might seem a bit wasteful, but this sort of re-exploration after things change is also a rather essential part of RPGs, also it was. In the past even more so. Oh, look, this is what I'm talking about. This is actual change. This I like. I still remember this was a ruin and we fought in here. How do you like what I've done with the place? I like it, very much so. Rooms are still under construction, but I can get you food and drink if you'd like. See? See, this is nice. This is precisely the sort of nonsense I like to see. And so why? Why is it that you can do this in a side quest, but you can't do it for your main quest? And it's something I don't understand, honestly. Also, I kind of find it funny how they actually allow me to steal here. So how does the upstairs look? Cleaned up too? Still looking dreary. Look at that. It looks dreary, but actually, this is what I mean. This is precisely what I'm talking about. It's like for fucking half an hour or so. See? This shows me that something is actually happening here, that my actions actually have a consequence in the game world. Yes. Let's see, this doesn't take long. I mean, sure, you have to do some animation work and stuff, and I mean, you have this animation before. But still, this is cool. This I like. This is a prime example of what I mean. This makes the game a lot more memorable for me personally. Just that is enough to please me. Yes, it might be, you know, somebody might be sitting there going like, huh, you're easy to please, aren't you? Yes, I am. But not in bad fashion, mind you. Nice. Even a little bit of dialogue about fixing the lighthouse, actually. Which means they have not just reused his little asset and copy-pasted the text, but no, they actually gave him a bit of individual text. I mean, some poor sucker actually looked at this and was like, well, that's, what would he say? Yeah, our work is cut out for us fixing this lighthouse. Nice. Very nice. They really need to keep doing this. This just feels satisfied. Technically speaking, the best thing you can do is then make it so that when I come back even later in the story, in the main story, shortly before the finale, that the upper layers are also done and are now rooms that can actually be used. That's the best potential you can do. It's kind of what Legend of Heroes actually does very well, with the people continuously evolving the little stories. Basically it's this. Just applied more directly. And the whole world actually changing. As in visually changing. I like. I find good. Very
Hail,
good.
traveler.
I shall do as you ask.
Hail indeed.
What you ask is done.
Now, I'm gonna take it. And we have it against me if I were to take it. I would not. Apparently that is fair game. Good. Yeah, but yes. Now it was all worth it. Now I'm feeling somewhat pleased. It's always good when you find what you're looking for, basically. As in a matter of saying. Hello, sailor. No. Look in here. See if we can find anything in here. Not actually, we could probably go out to the bridge and do that quest first, then go back to the first quest, then go back to Copper Lane, and then be done with it, basically. Or so the idea goes. Kind of reminds me, it would probably be prudent to talk about tomorrow, as in Saturday. I did somewhat say that I will make a long one, but I kinda have a long Saturday ahead of me. So I will kind of have to probably split that up. Long but not long. Long, and I actually have a bit of extra work to do for no reason.
Nothing is closed to the perceptive.
But not longer as
What
in
you ask
store
is done.
time. So I can probably
Nothing
do
is closed to
something
the perceptive mind. What you ask is done.
bit like we did last time, just not that command. It will probably be 2 streams then of a sizable length. Probably. It still kind of hinges on what my little friend will do. Basically, if he decides to take over some of the nonsense, we can do one very long one, like we did last time.
Hail,
And if
traveler.
not, then, well, we will have to be creative about it. But of course, we shall see. But generally speaking, I will try. Get us some nice and easy on the eyes playtime for tomorrow. Just that when I'm not absolutely sure that that will work out, I don't really like to make, as you probably know by now, promises that I'm not quite certain I will be able to keep. Never was a friend of that.
Something lies here for the eye.
I mean, I guess kinda my perception is a bit higher these days, so well, at least we get something out of this. But yeah. Then kinda leads to the question, how are we going to do this? Well, if we're going to be having all the time in the world, then we're going to do something like last time with a long, probably Total War. Not necessarily Attila again, maybe one of the other ones. Now to keep it fresh and entertaining for me. Oh, if we have to do 2, then actually maybe I'm going to do 1 of East and 1 of West. Maybe, potentially. But, as I said, at the moment nothing is really set in stone. Just as usual, keep your little eyes peeled. Look with your Augen. Use your Augen. Your Augen. Your little eyes. Your little eye holes. And you'll probably see me pop around somewhere along the line. To then give you the information of what's going to happen. Basically. It's going to be the easiest. That's actually the problem. I would like to get a bit more into the whole scheduling thing and give you a easier way to see what's coming beforehand, but well, if it's not an option, then it's not an option. And complaining about something I can't change is, well, along the lines of the more useless things. And let's be honest, who has the
Ever
time?
tried 3-point nettle?
I used to smoke that a few years back. Loved the flavor, but got tired of smelling like it.
How about deer cap?
Long as I don't need to be anywhere for a couple days.
Ever spent an evening with a comely lass while on deer cap?
Thought that was the point.
If you're talking about drug use for relaxation, then yes. And it depends on what sort of relaxation though. Yeah. Once again, almost done with the big city. Kinda saddening. Not so much to do. But this lighthouse alone was already worth my little trip here. I feel a lot better now. This is actually the last, I believe. Last place is the brothel. How quite fitting. How quite fitting indeed. Just like in Planescape, from one brothel to another. But this one is a more classical one, while the one in Planescape is for satiating your intellectual lusts. That's such a nice concept. It really likes to play with your conception of things, which I do find enjoyable. I'll give them that much. What can order do for you? Nothing.
Good day to you. Well met, friend.
Well met indeed.
Good day, stranger.
What can you tell me about the place? Rohan Sena, visiting village, knows about the Salty Mast, its most famous brothel in the Defiance Bay. Well, as far as I have seen throughout the city, it's the only one, so being the most famous is, I'm very sorry to say, not an impressive state. It's like, we're the most famous one. Yes, you're the only ones. But there's street prostitution here, but you're the only brothel. So being the most famous brothel, you know. You know. Well, we're done with this tour. What left behind is the Brackenbury, part of the city. That is actually not that big of a part.
Hail and well met.
Hail, well met. Salutations. All of the nonsense.
Greetings.
I don't think I actually ever ordered a prostitute, did I? Actually, I'm playing a female character. Would I then be... Or should I then be... ordering myself a man? I mean, I guess I should. Realistically speaking. But what do you want to tell Tristram he'd better not show his face in the city again? Wasn't the whole point of this dispute you had that he wanted to exactly do not show his face again? He wanted to go back to his tribe and stuff. Yeah, but I think this was all. Only one more district. A short trip into the sewers, then we're done with the city again, and probably for a long while actually. I don't see us coming back overly much. Mostly because I just don't see anything going on that would require us to do the whole trip around again. I will, before we go for the final areas of the game, take a look around and see if there's any sort of quest that we miss somewhere along the lane. But yeah. Apart from that, I don't think we will have any need to do the whole exploring thing of the city again. Which should save us some time, honestly. Twin Elms is luckily enough not that big, it's just 3 areas. Which is reasonable, honestly speaking. Yeah. That is precisely what you would accept.
Good day, stranger.
Burning down the whole building, that's totally reasonable. Bye-bye. You people are idiots. But then again, it's so much human nature. It's not even funny anymore. Now let's see if somebody cleaned up in here. I would say so, actually. There are no dead bodies. Current's ears snap towards the entryway at the sound of your approach. Turns toward you with a start. Recognizing you, he sighs, clutching his heart. I thought you were a looter. I'm afraid if you've come seeking the help of Danyard Row, you are too late. I'm all that's left. I thought you were dead. Not yet. He looks at the signs of scuffle around him. I'd gone out to buy food when all this happened. Can't have missed it by much. Still want to gather a few things. Records mostly. Some cases I don't want to give up on, even if it's just me now. We're gone soon enough. In fact, they will try to hunt me down, but it's hard to leave all this behind. Lady Webb, she worked hard for this. She did, yeah. But the very wrongest motivations of all, a very personal one, and I don't think anything else ever even occurred to her. But still, she managed much. You have to give her that much. I mean, there was a saying about how hell has no fury, like a woman scorned, and this woman was not necessarily scorned, but you know, kinda displeased with her lover. She went far to piss in his coffee. Very much so. And she achieved much, though not in the grander schemes of his plans. That much, sadly enough, was quite a bit outside of her league. And her body has disappeared. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, all the bodies have disappeared, so someone has cleaned up in here. The fact that there's still lots of stuff lying around, and considering that there should be lots of very important information about very, very much the things going on in the city, is kinda, you know, interesting. I mean, I don't know, maybe they're using code or something, so all the documentation is kinda worthless to an uninvolved person. But if not, then, well, quite literally for the taking lies probably a S-load of a very secretive information about the higher echelons of the city, and somebody is probably going to be picking that up, isn't that how that's gonna go on? Well, not think about it too deeply, that is not our problem. And God bless me for that, because I don't want to clean up that nonsense. Let's see what the horse has to say after all of this nonsense. You were involved in it also.
Welcome.
Just you, eh? Can't be too careful these days. Business do we have of the Dominils? Just see to loot the place and kill anyone in my way. Fairly well. Okay. So I can only really go in there if I murder everybody. I get you. I mean, considering that they are a basically mafia family, I might be tempted to just go for that and go like, murder it is now. But not really my style, honestly. Oh well, mostly not my style, let's say. At least that much. Not that we would have much to fear. I think we are quite strong enough to murder them all where they stand very much fast. Lots of guards around. And Lord Raymond himself.
Hail, traveler.
Such chaos. Such chaos indeed. Such horribleness. And she's like, wow, I like stories about beasts. The big one eats the small one. Yes. Nature, jungle laws. The easiest set of laws. Strong consume the weak.
Something lies here for the eyes. Nothing is closed to the
Well,
perceptive
well,
mind.
well. See? That is why it's good to come back later on
Nothing
when
is
your
closed to the perceptive mind.
stats are a bit
What you
higher.
ask is done.
Suddenly you find new stuff. Huh? Absolutely not unwelcome that the worst case is more money. Okay, then let's go into the bar and then we're done. Copper lane, or rather the sewers below it await. And pretty much it, I'd say. That is quite literally not much. Doop de doop de doop de doop. Come on, load. Load. I still remember when Elvick's tentacle was a thing, just in this area. Oh well, it would have been a thing if that elf wouldn't have run away. Cowardly bitch. Cowards everywhere, I tell ya. And we had such a nice thing going on there. Just until she was, well, I'm gonna go run away now. Minding your own business, you're quite literally called a bandit leader. It's like, bitch please, are you kidding me? Up we go then. Kinda thought this would be... What would happen? Yeah, you're missing your captain, aren't ya? Aren't ya? Into the sewers we shall go. Now, as we have learned from the last few bounties, the second set of bounties, considering our level, equipment, and other such things, have proven to be relatively easy. I'm reluctant to make generalized statements because that can backfire somewhat hard. So, you know, I'm not gonna say this will play out the precise same, but I'm somewhat confident to say that we will be able and capable of getting the bounty, at least. That much we should be able to do. Worst case scenario is going to require us to do some actual strategizing and tacticianing and stuff like that. But apart from that, not a problem whatsoever, I shall assume. Also, I can still somewhat refuel. Yes, I can feel my head throbbing a bit again, is what I wanted to say. So, I shall not do it overly longer after that, sadly enough. It's a bit to do with the way the weather has been in the last few days. Usually when the weather is like this and the temperature gets to certain points, I tend to get a bit of a headache. It's not that much of a problem, but it's a bit annoying, as you can probably imagine. What the fuck am I even looking for? The vampire. Oh god, we're looking for a vampire. Oh shit, it's an edgy vampire. Arrived the stronghold D6 or 8, defending his keep from his rival. That sounds like a quest. Yo, edgy vampire, where are ya? I mean, technically speaking, he shouldn't be there, because that is technically speaking the area where that necromancer boy is. But if you were there, I probably did here, there would be a chance for an overlap, and you don't really want to risk that, game-wise. Well,
Hey,
I think we found what we were looking for, one way or another.
of course.
Run! 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 Nice. One hit, murdered. Now you go in there. You had that rot skulls, right? You can use that one. You can use that one. And now you're running away because that is the fucking vampire's fucking ability again. Give me some holy poly showy things. Make it rain nonsense. And technically you also have the amplified wave thingy. Yes, holy fucking shit raining on your head. That is precisely the sort of nonsense we want to get our hands on. Where is that Wildlands? Jesus Christ, if they hit you, they do hurt. Bitch. That is a very painful sound effect. to drop that vampire. Because that is what he deserves. I could have done this a lot better, couldn't I? Yes, I could have. Did I do it though? Nope, no I did not. Yeah, that too did not work out nearly as well as it could have. Let's say, do you have anything else nice? Relentless Storm, for example. Wall of Thorn, Relentless Storms. That one is nice. So I find goes. Heal thyself. And you can shapeshift, because, well, you can. Then you can murder it. Bloody fucking vampire. Well, probably should have planned that a bit better around everything, but yeah, it's going to work. Draw an enemy. I mean, technically speaking, yes, but a bit late for that, obviously. Still, only one falling down, actually, right? That's somewhat reasonable, actually. Well, then, let's go back. Then we can go to the bridge. They who woke the stars. The Glenfarthur astronomers who predicted the Lover's Tide that destroyed Undra's gift took many of their instruments and notes and hid them out of fear. Might be captured by adherents. Yet after the war, the Fraps recovered the astronomers' work. Unfortunately, all of the original astronomers had died. Much of their writing has penned in an unknown cipher. The Valiant Dukes have offered a reward for anyone who can help crack the cipher of the Glenfarthurs. The tribes are reluctant to let anyone look at the notes, but believe it would be better to share the knowledge and let it remain a secret. Model Paladino is going to go for that. Now with that out of the way. What is that? Interesting. Kinda overlooked something here, something there, you know, just small things. But still, surprising that I overlooked that much. Well then, down the bridge do we go and pretend to be somebody's representative. Do not forget that our job is not to murder them in broad daylight, but find out how they smuggle things in and out of the city, basically. Yeah. Subtlety is of course not our usual strong point, but it will have to be for the moment. Mastery. Barracuzi.
Good day to you.
We are at the bridge, so far so good. Okay, we get a cutscene. Nice. The man's hand rests lightly on the hilt of his flail as you approach. What's your business with us? Does the name Barracuzi mean anything to you? Yes, you're late, and we hate to be kept waiting. Don't let it happen again. Now, on to the details of our arrangement. There's loose plank on the southern end of the docks in Honor's Gift, near the sunken ship. Leave the payment there. Gems and coins only. Gems preferably. They're much easier to carry than sacks of coins. Right, we'll take the payment and replace it with Anglofian relics of slightly lesser value. I say lesser, because we have to take our own fee first. Doing all the work, taking most of the risk after all. There you have it, clean and simple. Any questions? How do I know you won't just take the money and leave nothing in return? The arrangement works for Master Fusilo, it works for Master Ross. You don't like the deal, walk away. And the Glenfasson will get upset when they caught you looting Evergreen Ruins. You do get caught, which doesn't happen often. We make sure the Glenfassians don't stay upset for very long. Witnesses are inconvenient. How do you know which relics are valuable? I'm quite knowledgeable about the Anglofian culture. Say something is valuable, it is. Varian hasn't been wrong yet either. Tell your master not to worry about us selling him junk. You should keep the run going without ever being caught. Yep. The Valian ambassador Augusti knows about us and is trying to shut us down. He's not as smart as he thinks he is. And besides, our patrons in the Republics are more powerful and influential. Not have anything to worry about. Not have any more questions. Good. Give us about a week and we'll have something for you. Bad news, Oriment. Because his buyer isn't coming. Looks like the knights took him in for questioning. I guess it's Augusti's behind it. So, what's going on here with this? Good question. Well, this is Armward. She knows too much. Kill her. Shit. I was actually hoping that we could make this smart and not get attacked because I'm somewhat weakened still, but fuck's sake. This does not work out like I had hoped it would. Firebug. I fear some other fire bounces from enemy to 8 times.
Hey.
Jesus, is everybody basically feared at this point? Jesus Christ, I should have definitely done something for their poor little do we have something a bit more? Yeah, this is going to work. You shape shift, I suppose. You make it fall down. You will take a step back. Hey, I just told you to go in there. Murder that thing. I think we've got it under control. Well, I would say that Vincent Augusti is not really a master of information control now, you see. And I fucked this one up. Can explain how they could get this shit running for so long. Ah, in the ass. Well, I sure hope he's going to pay me, because I kind of think I deserve it. Very much so. He did a good job here, mind you, and it's quite literally not our fault that he is an idiot and can't keep things under control. Yeah, I'll need to rock all the way down here again. Apart from that though, do we have anything else we need to worry about? Quite literally not. Nope. Nope. Basically, Cat to Katnua, getting our bounty, resting for a bit, traveling to Twin Realms, and prepare for exploration in the next area. It's quite literally all we can do. So I'm going to surmise at least. Actually, that was a worthwhile trip back. We found a bit more loot hidden here and there. Another little quest that had hidden itself. So far, I'm somewhat pleased. That is how you get the most out of your game. It also gave me a good opportunity to ramble about how the game missed a few opportunities to make itself more, so to speak.
Hail, traveler.
Why are you not talking to me?
Hail and well met.
I met with the Forgotten, but it didn't go quite like you planned. No, you weren't able to learn anything about their smuggling operation then. It was going well, but then they discovered I wasn't really Berkuzi's representative. Their own friend showed up at the wrong time. Now they're dead. Going well. See, I'm glad you survived the experience. He rubs his chin. I'd hoped that I could resolve the situation with subtlety, but what's done is done. I have no idea what may come of this. But that's my problem, not yours. Take these gems as payments for your service. I mean, we could quite literally not do anything. That was not our fault, any way you look at it. Technically speaking, it's your fault for not being able to keep the information that Berkuzi's representative has been caught under wraps. If you had done a better job there, we wouldn't even have the problem. But alas, determining who's at fault and who's not is really an inconsequential action. As long as everybody gets paid, not a problem if you ask me. Now, traveling to Katnua, getting ourselves freshly and healed up, then going to Hearthfang and prepare for exploration time. Also, we kinda need to talk with that guy that is around. Lord Seedrock. Apparently. Well, we shall do so. Come on. Yeah, it's good you're here. I simply must speak with you, my lady. Very well, let's hear it. Call for your allies and strike toward your throne. As I'm sure you're well aware, wealth has a way of birthing enemies. My fortress is beset by thieves. During one of the lesser nobles is after my treasury. It has the stink of jealousy upon it. It will be weeks before I can secure my holdings, but then it will be too late. I haven't the connections to hire mercenaries on short notice. And so I turn to you, my lady. Is there anything you can do? I'd like a moment to discuss this with my people. Certainly. I can see that these jealous rivals are dealt with. Can I help you with this at the moment? Make a stand, defend your keep. I don't have the resources, my lady. Forces are spread thin. I'd need an army. Knights of the Crucible, positive 2. You'll have the support from Crucible Knights. That should be more than enough to fend off the thieves. Thank you. It's bound to do the trick. Can't wait to see those orphans scatter. Well, that is what connections exist for. Actually make use of them. After all.
No.
Going over, collect the mobile MD. See, they did it so well with this. Everything changes when you rebuild it, which is how it should be. Guess that some of those things are kinda useless, like the forum here. What do I need that for? Oh, nothing. I never use it for anything. The only way I, you know, hold any sort of debate is in my throne room, so why even build it? You know. Also, I think originally in the earlier versions, before they patched it in, you kinda had to actually go here to get Noah, go inside here, to actually rest, which was a pain in the ass to do, which is why no one ever did try that resting inside Cat Noah thing. Even though you got bonuses out of that, it just was too many loading screens. Really happy they fixed that. That's actually something really useful for once.
Hail and well met.
There is Grimald. Won't be a problem anymore. Well done, you've outdone the Ducal Palace. Mind, that's not terribly difficult. Anyway, here's your pay. Emojis. Claimed. Ah, here we are, let me see. There's some ranger causing trouble out in the wilds. There's Gillan Delgrid, slaver, not exactly popular around here. And there's some kind of cult, looks like. And here's one I haven't seen in a while. Captain Muarumi, the pirate. I'll go after the ranger. Ranger Formula 1 has been waging a one-woman campaign of terror against travelers passing through wooded plains. Survivors report that she feeds her victims to the pack of wild animals that travel with her. The folks would be glad to hear she's been dealt with. Galen Delgard, once got Thief. Galen Delgard, the slaver. He and his friends have been spotted at Matama Bridge. None of the local authorities are willing to touch him because he got powerful connection back in Nadir. Some nameless souls willing to put coin down to see Galen breathe his last. Says it's personal. What's this about a guild? I'm not sure what to make of this one. Something about a murderous cult of druids led by a Mengua. The creature goes by Devwen, and that looks like she and her followers have set up a cave near the Northweld. Anton's pirate. Captain Muarumi mainly goes after Valian vessels. His crew just made landfall at Enslock's compass. Sure how long he's planning on staying, but this is your chance to take him down before he sets sail again. Whole new batch of quests. By saving the power from enemy sources, I was able to slow them down and increase his or her own speed. I was able to save an enemy from the world, leaving them unable to act, but also unable to be affected. I mean, if I can learn both, why not? Even more quests. I mean, that is kind of good. Those bounties are simple and easy enough. And after we had a bit of a walking around, talking around episode, probably not a bad idea to have next episode be a bit more combat focused. Do some of the fighting and stuff. Oh, yes. So yes, before we actually return to Twin Elms next time, we shall take care of a few more bounties beforehand. But for the moment, I will have to bid you adieu. To put it very mildly, I had a bit of a headache today anyway, because of the weather being as it is, and I can still feel that somewhat. It comes back to bite me in the head, and I don't like that feeling very much. Hurts like a bitch, and it gets worse. So, since that is getting worse, and I do kinda have to, you know, get up relatively, mind you, relatively early tomorrow. which I shall do, of course. To get things done, it's probably a good idea to end it here anyway and start fresh and relaxed in the next day. So my plan is. Well, as I said before, adieu it shall be for the moment. Have a good one and all that, as usual. Also, as usual, I apologize if I sound a bit out of it. Headaches have a tendency to make me a bit more unfocused than I usually am. But still, thank you very much for dropping by. And as I kinda said for tomorrow, I'm kind of still trying a bit for Saturday to find a good compromise of how to do things. So nothing is yet set in stone anyway, but well, we shall either have a nice long one like we had yesterday, or maybe 2 ones, which will also be rather lengthy. Then it kind of depends on how precisely. Sadly enough, since this kind of depends on other people and work, which is also important, I can't really give you the precise details. I'm kind of working on a way to actually determine things beforehand in a way that we can either schedule them for the upcoming time, so we always have the same things on the same days, easily enough, or that we at least be able to communicate it, like, if I'm able to communicate it at least, you know, a day before with some certainty, that would be pretty much appreciative from every potential angle, I imagine. Sadly, things the way they are, it's kind of hard to make this. But alas, you know, we shall try. So, yeah, basically keep an eye out tomorrow, if you so desire, if it fits your schedule, that is. As usual, everything is free, a free choice after all, God bless that, and not a duty, not a chore, not something you have to do. I mean, surely, you should know better. Your patience, your mind, your morality should guide you on this particular matter indeed, but, you know. All joking aside, do feel free to drop by, if you can find the time, that is. Very important. Yeah, apart from that, I think everything has been said so far, so I shall be gone for the moment. Once again, have a good one.